Welcome to All Consuming Podcast. This is Tyler, and if you're wondering where Gary's at, he's actually here with us right now. We're just doing our annual Furnace Fest episode, and the guys we brought on decided to go again without me. And so this episode, I'm going to be the host. I get to ask all the questions, kind of guide this conversation, and the whole time, just like the last time we did this episode, I'm just going to sit here and be jealous and secretly hate every single one of you guys. All right?
Are you going to defend yourself?
Sounds good.
Why didn't you go?
Well, okay. You guys act like it's the craziest thing in the world that a guy that's 2,000 miles away doesn't go. You're like, how do you not go 2,000 miles and leave your job and your responsibilities and go spend a weekend away?
Yeah, why?
How?
See?
How do you do that, Tyler?
Every other
We
person.
don't understand, Tyler.
See, if it was the other way around, I was like, okay, guys, I coach football. I'm the offensive coordinator. We have a game, and I go, hey, I'm gonna miss the game this weekend, and they're like, what for? Well, there's like this in Birmingham. There's this like concert festival where they like a lot of screaming Jesus music is happening. Like they look at me like I was crazy. You know what I mean? And you guys look at me like I'm crazy. It's whatever. Anyways, we're not here to talk and defend myself.
Sure.
We're here to talk about the show. So first, we got Gary. He's here. We know his voice. You know who he is.
Hi,
okay?
man.
And we'll start with anyone that's next that wants to introduce themselves. Ready, set, you.
I'll go first.
Perfect.
My name's Tim Campbell, like
All
the
right.
soup.
Nice.
And, yeah, from Northwest Arkansas. This is my first year going to Furnace Fest,
Sweet.
and it ruled.
That's awesome.
I'm a fireman, and I have 3 kids, and I've been married 11 years.
Cool. Awesome. Nice to meet you, Tim.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
So
And next we have, go for it.
Yeah, I'll go. So I'm the other Arkansas guy. Even though Tim and I live about 30 minutes apart from one another, we didn't go together. We met there.
Aw.
Insane.
But my name's Cecil. I was on this episode last year,
Yes, you were.
so I'm a return offender of traveling across the country to go to Furnace Fest. So this was year 3 for me. But I freaked out all of my coworkers and said, hey, I'm the accountant here, but I'm leaving to go to a 4-day long or 5-day long for me music festival, and we'll scream and yell and all that. And so they think I'm just the weirdest dude on the planet, but wouldn't miss it for the world.
Heck yeah, man. You know, and the thing is, you must have left a really good impression on Gary because he rarely asks people to come on this twice.
Yeah, I got the text
Like-
and I was like honored.
The other dudes, I don't even know. Like, I was like, so we're just going to bring everyone else back on? He's like, no. I'm just kidding. He didn't do that. But he's like, man, Cecil, yeah, got to bring him on. And last, who do we have?
My name is Cody English. This is my first ever year going to Furnace Fest. My wife actually surprised me with this trip, and she kind of made it work to where I could go and experience it. But I've been a part of all-consuming community for a couple years now, and it was my first time meeting Gary in person. I'm sad that I never got to meet you, Tyler, but hopefully one day I'll be able to meet you.
One day. It won't be at Furnace Fest, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cody was actually on our first Christmas special, or our second Christmas special episode years ago.
That's right. Cody is an OG. So we're glad to have you on here. This is super awesome. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to try to do this in sort of chronological, okay? And we started talking about day 1, day 2, day 3 stuff, and then Gary started saying, well, what about the pre-show and the after-show and the pre-show and this show? It's like, okay, whatever you guys want to talk about when we get there, go for it. So we're going to start with day 1. Now, I want to know, too, so Arkansas, 8 hours away from Birmingham, roughly?
Yeah, to drive, it was like 8.5 without stops.
And you didn't stop at all?
Well, we stopped long enough to drop my son off at grandma's and
Perfect.
hit the road. Yeah, it was great.
And Cody, you are in where?
Florida. I'm a Florida man.
A Florida man. How far away is Birmingham from Florida?
It was like
Your whereabouts?
8 to 9 hours without any stops. Me and Trey, we basically carpooled together and we just shot all the way there. We didn't make any stops. We just wanted to get there as quickly as possible. It was a good ride.
So 8-hour drive, 8-hour drive, 8-hour drive. That's doable. Gary, you're from Spokane.
Yeah, I didn't drive.
I mean,
Yeah, it was we flew to Denver and then to Birmingham, so it was like 2.5 and 2.5 or whatever. So 5 hours of flying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I actually flew from Arkansas. So.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, so I flew.
My type of guy.
That's right.
Yeah, it
Dude,
was flight miles, man. You have to use them, so it's perfect.
Heck yeah.
So that's like what, a 2-hour flight?
Yeah, it
Not
wasn't
even.
bad. Yeah, we took like a 6 a.m. The flight mile flights are like you got to get the super early ones.
Yeah.
So we did an early flight, and we were in Birmingham by like 10:30 a.m. So it's not bad at all.
That's
and then
sick.
I'm coming home.
Did you arrive day of?
Yeah, on Thursday. Sorry, we arrived
okay.
Thursday, so day before. I'm not on Facebook, so like I missed the whole pre-show thing. I didn't know that was a thing until Cecil's like, "Hey man, you going to this show?" I'm like, "Dude, I didn't even know that was a thing." So unfortunately, missed out.
So you missed the pre-show. Well,
yes,
I missed out on even knowing what the pre-show is right now. So Cecil, can you tell me about this pre-show and what it was like and who you saw?
We're talking about the official Furnace one, right? Furnace Fest one on Wednesday?
Yeah, the Wednesday one.
Well, so Wednesday was actually, it wasn't Furnace Fest itself. It was.
I thought it was.
No, it was the Furnace Fest community group party. So it was like sponsored by the Facebook group. But it was wild. I think there was like 10 different bands. There was live wrestling.
No, there wasn't.
Like WWE, dude.
WWE wrestling.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
It was. It was quite the adventure.
All right.
The funniest part. So obviously there's several bands, and we'll talk about them. Like we saw the Undertaking there with Blood Comes Cleansing there.
Awesome.
Before there were Rosalind was there. Those were like the 3 main bands that we went to see, or at least I went to see. But then after the headlining act, which was From Autumn to Ashes, the Undertaking came out and actually played a full karaoke set as well, live band karaoke.
Oh wow!
I did see that.
So we stayed.
What time did you get back to your room?
Yeah, we left the venue at like 1:30, 1:45. And so we drove Wednesday. So we left our house in Bentonville at like 7:15. Drove for 9 hours. Got to the venue as it opened at 6 and left at almost 2.
Oh my gosh.
It was
wow.
It was quite
that's
the
why
day.
we couldn't do it. The Washington crew. So I went with 2 friends, Bobby and Eric, and so we flew down. But we took like a 5 a.m. flight, and so it was like 3 a.m. our time. We had to wake up and get to the airport. So after With Blood Comes Cleansing played, which was like 11:30, we were like, I'm done. Like, there's no way I'm gonna make it. So
Gary barely made it to their set. Like Gary, Tim, and Eric were like, or Bobby and Eric were like unconscious by like 3/4 of the way through the first couple of shows. Like I could tell
it was like jet lag, and like I had a cold that I was getting over, so like my ears were still like super compressed from the flight, and I was just like,
my gosh,
like yawning and blowing my nose and like trying to like pop my ears, but I was just like, I guess I'm in a tunnel all day, whatever. But the venue, it's called Workplay. Very cool. They have 2 stages that are like on opposite ends of the building, and you have to go through like this hallway to get to each one. But the way they did it was like each band played, and the other band set up on the other stage. So as soon as they were done, the other band started.
Oh.
And so as soon as the band's over, people would just start going down the hallway and like getting to this other room to check out the other band. So there's like no downtime. But you can also be like, I'm not interested in that band. I want to be up front for this one. I'm not walking.
Go watch wrestling.
Yeah, we finally got a table. We're not moving. That kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But really cool, which is where the Saturday night show was that we'll talk about when we get to Saturday.
Cool. Yeah. And Cody, you didn't see this pre-show.
No, I came. Me and Trey came on Thursday, so yeah, we didn't brave that at all.
All right, so then I guess we moved to Thursday. This is day 1 of the last
Not Furnace Fest.
Day 1 of Not Furnace Fest.
Yeah, that's another
still
pre-show.
Still not Furnace Fest.
You went on Wednesday, no Furnace Fest. Thursday, no Furnace Fest.
Yep.
What? Okay.
So Thursday there was a show.
Okay, explain
Cecil
to me.
wants to talk about it.
Cecil's going to talk again.
Go for it, Cecil.
You guys, okay, so they said there's an app for this. This isn't even on the app.
There it is.
Check
Oh,
this out.
That's
I got
awesome.
my VIP badge.
Oh
still.
yeah, your VIP.
Yeah, there you
Okay,
go.
so they're holding up Living Sacrifice.
The blame,
Blame.
spoken in tongues.
And spoken in tongues.
So, like, my dad, I texted him, like, what I was at, and he was like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he knows all those people and bands and stuff, where I'm like, I mean, I know Living Sacrifice. I remember The Blamed. But, yeah, so those bands kind of, a lot of the members in the bands were, like, the bedrock of, like, Christian metal in the 90s.
Yeah.
And kind of, like, brought forth, like, the, metal core. So it was a pretty cool event. I don't know how many people there was. It was sold out.
Yeah,
it was
in
like a-
this garage.
Yeah, it's like a recording studio, but it's like a garage on one half.
That's sick.
I don't know. But anyway, it was a tiny stage, and like everyone seemed to know everyone except for us. We're just like, we know that guy, but nobody knows us,
Yeah.
We saw like the drummer from Extol there, like as a fan listening to Living Sacrifice
cool.
and stuff, and so it was a cool experience just seeing all these like names and hearing stories and stuff, and it felt very intimate, and like I felt like we were invited to a secret show,
Really?
I had my first fangirl moment of the weekend with Extol there.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm sure we'll talk about it when we get to Sunday, but like Extol's my favorite band of all time.
Yeah.
And I've had a very tumultuous 2 years of trying to see Extol.
Right, because they weren't there last year, right?
Yep.
They canceled.
And the year
They
before.
canceled last Furnace Fest. I flew to Switzerland to see them in March of this year, and they canceled.
Stop.
It's true. And then, literally, Bobby and Gary were making fun of me at this Living Sacrifice show about how they're not going to show up, and they're all doing it just for my sake.
Yeah.
And literally, as they're making fun of me, their Extol's drummer like walks within 6 inches of me to
I mean,
talk
he pointed
to.
at his butt pretty much.
Right, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. And they're like, who's that? And I'm like, oh, you don't know who that is? I was all offended. But
It's amazing.
but then me being the super awkward guy that I am, like, I didn't talk to him. I was like, oh gosh, that's him. But, well, so anyway, he was clearly talking to somebody who knew, because just like Gary said, like, everybody at this show knew each other. And it was really close knit. We were definitely one of the like 50 people there that wasn't part of a band of some sort.
Yeah.
And so they went out. I followed him outside after that set, and he was not. That sounds worse than it is.
It
but
sounds terrible.
He lurked. He was just like,
I went out.
now's
but
my
then
chance.
All 4 of the Extol guys were out there, and so I was like, okay, well, I have to go say hi. So I went and did, and they knew who I was after the Switzerland debacle, and it was actually
How would they know who you are after that?
well. So I went and talked to him and made
He
a
complained
comment.
really loud on social media, and they were
I
mad.
did. I was a social media Karen in March of last year.
Oh,
But they ended up feeling really bad, and they like sent me merch as an apology for
okay.
canceling.
Wow.
And so
That's so awesome.
yeah, so I
Well,
went
and they're
and
both
talked to
out of
them.
their control, right?
Correct,
They didn't get their
yeah.
visas in time, and then in Switzerland there was like a storm coming in, so the flight was canceled.
Yeah,
so
they were
they weren't
at
gonna
the
make it.
airport when they
Yeah.
canceled. But I went up and talked to him and said hi and told them that I'd been trying to see him for a while, and they were like, "Wait, are you the guy that flew to Switzerland?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry," but it was super cool. And I had said, you always say don't meet your heroes because they might like be awful. They were super cool, so I was like,
Awesome.
"Oh, thank goodness, I don't have to be worried." And then I
You
just
show 'em
had
your
to stress
tattoo?
to see. I did. Krister, the guitar player, actually took a picture of it because I have an Extol tattoo, and they were like, "Oh, it was cool." But
that's really cool.
then we watched Living Sacrifice, and they killed it, and it was awesome. But
Yeah.
it was a
Cool.
good night.
And so Cecil and Gary were at that. You guys, Cody and Tim, were not.
Nope.
No,
Okay.
unfortunately.
So was this exclusive, or it just sold out really quick?
It sold out like almost instantly.
Yeah, it sold out really fast, and I think there was only like 200 tickets or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was small.
I mean, it was elbow to elbow with people. So
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you get there Wednesday. You go to a pre-show, the pre-show. Then you go there on Thursday. What do you do from Thursday to pre-show?
I worked all day, so I didn't use any vacation time, and so
awesome.
I worked all day.
That's awesome.
Me and Bobby and Eric were like, hey, we're at the hotel by the airport. Let's go to McDonald's. So we looked up on our app.
2,000 miles away. Why not?
Yeah, they're like,
Let's
hey,
go to
there's
McDonald's.
a McDonald's 1 mile away. You guys up for a walk? So we walk to McDonald's and we get there. There's no McDonald's. And the building's like all abandoned. And I looked at the reviews. Terrible reviews. The picture looks like that building, but there's like trees growing in the parking lot and stuff. I'm like, what happened? This lady pulls up in the parking lot, like kind of fast. I mean, she's girl, tattooed, piercings. She's like, are you guys here for Furnace Fest? And we're like, yeah. And she's like, turn around and go that way. You will die. Murder, murder, murder. Do not walk this way. And we're like, we just want coffee. But
wow,
it was a pretty shady area, and everything was shut down and barred up. And so we walked like 2 blocks down and maybe another mile, and we found a coffee shop and chilled out there. But I guess we were in a shady area of Birmingham.
That
murder,
is
murder.
What in your mind is like, hey, we have 25 McDonald's at home. We should go to McDonald's when we're in Birmingham.
That's a good question. We were at the airport, and none of us had cars. So it's
you're
like,
far
do we
away
want to
from
pay
downtown or something.
Yeah, do we want to pay like, $16 an Uber downtown for who knows how long? And like, I don't know. So it was like, this was like in the morning, so like 8 a.m. And I was thinking, I just want an Egg McMuffin, man.
Sure.
That's all I want right now.
Maybe I heard wrong last time, but I heard Birmingham has a really diverse like Lime scooter, like rent a scooter.
Dude, yeah,
deal.
They don't go. So that whole area we stayed at is all blacked out. So if you drive your scooter anywhere near there, it just shuts off.
Oh.
And we're like,
So you couldn't even ride scooters to the show.
Yeah. But it's okay. We bribed Cecil into picking us up every day and getting us going. So
Yeah.
super appreciate it.
I was Mr. Uber.
Yeah, he was our Furnace Fest dad.
Yep, it was great.
Let's transition to actual Furnace Fest. Friday, okay? Not the pre-show, not the pre-show, the main event, what everyone came for Friday, and like a ton of bands on here that I just look at. Obviously, August Burns Red, Devil Wears Prada. Like Haste Today on the flyer is like middle of the pack, and they were like top of it last year, right? But they just threw Haste Today, and that's how stacked it was, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about Friday, your favorite bands, what like the experience was for the first time. Let's start with Cody. And you talk about Friday, and then we'll move on.
So Friday for me was super surreal, dude. I'm talking like when we were waiting in line and when we finally got our wristbands, everybody was there. We kind of just went through the security, went through all that stuff. When I was walking through the merch, like the main entrance to Furnace Fest, I literally like my brain just turned off and I'm like, where am I? Like, this is just, am I actually here? Like everybody
There's
just
so much
kind of
stuff.
yeah. Everybody just kind of went off and did their own thing. I just kind of was just wandering for a little bit, like just really like taking it all in. And it was just incredible, dude. Like it was amazing seeing the water tower and the furnace in the background with the stage and the shed stage. And it's just the best venue I've ever seen in my life. Like in terms of a festival, like they could have not chosen a better venue for anything like this. Like it was just so crazy awesome.
That's
But
cool.
when we first went, there were a couple bands in the beginning I didn't really want to see particularly. I kind of wanted to wait it out. I was waiting for O Sleeper. That was my like number one. Like that was the first one I wanted to hit because I love those guys.
Right.
So I kind of was just kind of like following Gary and anyone else that was just going to different shows. Like there were some bands on there that they were referencing, and I'm like, oh, these guys sound good. I might go check them out, and they were really awesome. So yeah, that was pretty much my like intro to Furnace Fest for the first day.
Yeah. Tim, this is your first time too, right?
First time.
So similar feeling and all that, or what?
Oh yeah, everything Cody said, I was just agreeing. I was in agreement, brother. Basically, like, so I took my wife. You know, my wife's not a metalhead or anything even close to it. So we got an Airbnb downtown. We try to take like an anniversary trip every year. So we kind of tied this in. She was gonna chill. We got a nice Airbnb. We're gonna chill. She was gonna kind of just take the weekend to kind of relax and take a break from being a mom. And turns out she turned into a metalhead this week. Furnace Fest.
Wow,
So
that's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks to the colony of people that surrounded us there. But so going into Saturday, I went to like every show I possibly could, even if I didn't know the band, because I was just trying to soak it in.
Sure.
Like even the first band, Twisted Luck, like they're an Alabama-based band, I think, and so it was really cool to see like the local scene, like right out of the gate, and so that was
Yeah.
super cool. I'm really into like local scenes, and so like especially here in NWA as well. So just to see kind of like that light off the Furnace Fest was sick.
Cool.
I remember texting my wife right away and be like, "I'm so happy," like I'm so
cool.
happy, and so just everything that I could have ever hoped for,
You're like wedding day.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was
Dude, same.
like I was
It's
just
literally
like,
second.
I was on cloud nine, like from the get
Yep.
go, and it just stayed, the whole 3 days. But the first band that I was really stoked for was Penny Circus. They're another
Yes.
local band in Birmingham. And what's cool is I kind of sampled these guys like before the weekend, because they, on Spotify, there's all those playlists for Furnace Fest. So like,
Right.
there were so many of these bands I'd never heard of that like now I'm a huge fan of, because of that.
That's cool.
And so, and they ripped. Penny Circus was great.
Yep. They're awesome.
Cody, O Sleeper was, high on my list. He is Legend was up there.
Oh, yeah.
They are so sick live.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. And I mean, we can go through them all, but I'm just saying, like, my initial experience was I was just on cloud nine
Dude,
the whole
that's so
time,
cool.
and I rode that high.
When did we
so-
see you? Like, when did you like officially meet everybody that was in our base?
I came like right before we went in. I came to the tailgate area.
Yes.
Did I
Yeah,
walk away?
No, you were there. I met you like very briefly, and then I went and got in line to get my wristband because like all you guys already had your bands. So
Oh yeah.
I think I ripped an IPA with Cecil, and I went in and and got my
You
wristband.
guys are IPA guys?
Well, yes.
Dude, me too.
Yeah. So
Cecil's not. Don't
I'm
don't be
not.
fooled.
Yeah,
Oh.
no.
well, he had
I'm drinking a regular old lager.
yeah.
Ah,
I like IPAs though, man. I'll stay with you there.
sweet
I
man.
brought IPAs.
Yeah.
So I
thank
could
you for
share
that, brother.
it.
Thank you.
Good.
Hey,
So-
I bring all the bad beers too, and I have to go to someone's house.
Yeah, exactly.
So that sounds awesome. I don't know if you guys know. So O Sleeper is on there. Did you know? Not to make maybe to make Cecil feel better about the whole Extol story. Did you know that Gary has a claim to fame with O Sleeper?
No, I'd love to hear
Gary,
it.
can you share the
I
story
do.
real
I
quick?
think I've
Yeah,
heard
you
this.
know about.
I've shared this story
He
before.
has. Yeah, say it.
It's short. It's not that crazy. We saw
Time.
O Sleeper.
He went pee next to the lead singer. That's it. He's gonna try
Nice.
to make it not seem as weird as it was. I'm just kidding. It wasn't weird. There was 14 urinals, and it was lead singer Micah, and he went to the one right next to him.
I was like, hey, can you make some room? Scoot over.
So I like your music. All right. Anyway, sorry. That was a little tangent.
That was like 15 years ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Friday sounds awesome so far. Cecil, what other bands were you guys like stoked to see?
So, I mean, really, I'm a solid state tooth and nail guy. So, realistically, like, I was there to hang out and see a bunch of bands until O Sleeper played.
Sure.
O Sleeper kicked off at like 3 o'clock, so we had plenty of time to explore and look at merch and spend too much money. And
yeah.
there was like a tooth and nail / solid state was there selling test pressings.
Test press.
And I
yeah,
spent
through-
I spent way too much time looking through test presses that they were asking way too much money. Like,
Yeah, I
trying
saw
to
all the
convince
wolves at the gate
myself-
ones, and I was like,
Yeah,
nah.
yeah. I bought 2, but had to talk myself out of buying like 14. But
Right.
yeah. So O Sleeper's where I really kicked off my festival, and then there was a pretty good stretch there from like O Sleeper all the way through ABR at the end of the night. There was basically somebody I wanted to watch for like the next 10 hours. So
Yep.
it was a really long day. the problem with Friday, like if there was a complaint, they definitely had to figure out some of their sound and audio issues that it's learning curves of any festival. But like Oh Sleeper, we felt really bad. They played like 3/4 of the song, only hearing it in their in-ears.
Yeah.
The entire
So they're like
crowd-
up there playing it, and we're just
just
like,
way.
you just hear the drums
Yeah.
going clack, clack, clack.
It was terrible.
You're like,
And
I
they're
think
just
that's
like
the
going
song.
crazy.
Oh yeah,
They're going-
they've got no
yeah,
they've
they're
got
so
no
into
idea.
it.
They're like, yeah, like cheering and all that, and then like
Oh,
the whole
Everyone's
crowd's
like,
just
everyone's
like,
like,
we can't hear you. It was
it sucked, dude. They lost like
Yeah.
probably 10 minutes of their set, maybe 15.
yeah.
yeah.
that
I
is wild.
felt
Yeah.
really bad. So like I actually like one of the only videos I have from O Sleeper's set on my phone was them like miming with no audio. I was like, because I was like, well, surely it'll fix itself. And then I kept recording. It's like, surely they know.
Any second.
It's like,
now.
yeah, all right. And so then it literally like 10 minutes later they were like, okay, now we can play a couple more songs. I felt really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, that sucked.
Dang.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they killed it when you could hear
The songs they
Yeah.
did play.
Yeah,
finished
they
it
did.
strong
I
too.
loved Hush IL.
Yeah.
Like him like grabbing people's faces and shoving the
Oh,
microphone
yeah,
as
that
they're trying to
was
scream
awesome.
and end him slow. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of want to get up there and do it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was sick.
That's cool. Well, Gary, what other bands did you see on Friday that we got to talk about?
Well, I'm going to talk about all of them.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yep.
So
I know. I didn't know how
I
long
mean-
to go for. So
yeah, we'll just go through like Oh Sleeper will be the first one we talk about.
Yeah.
I watched a few before that too because we had like 3 hours to kill till Oh
yeah,
Sleeper.
yeah.
But anyway, Oh Sleeper was first. We already talked about the sound issues. So up next was He Is Legend,
Yep.
and
In
they
the
played
Shed.
that. They played that album front to back. Hollywood. I Am Hollywood.
I am Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, which is the only He Is Legend album that I really like all the way through.
I wonder if they knew
mostly
that
'cause-
going into the fest. That
Well,
was like their like popular album.
Yeah, because they were there last year, I think.
Nope. This was their first
2
year.
years, 3, really? Because they had that Furnace Fest exclusive vinyl like 2 years ago of theirs.
They might have played 2021, but
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, I've never seen them, and I loved what they did. I mean, so they definitely can't sing that high, but you could tell
Yeah.
they just dropped the key of everything
Yeah.
so that they could sing.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
But I mean, I was a huge fan when I was a kid because I remember watching the music video for
The Seduction.
that one song with the puppets, Seduction.
Yeah, The
oh
Seduction.
my gosh, dude. Yeah, that song is just so good, and him playing it live, like, yeah, it was great. And I think that's where I officially met Tim, where my brain clicked that this is a person that we're hanging out with this week. So after He Is Legend was Emery, which I was super stoked for. I haven't seen them since like 2010, because they never come to the Pacific Northwest, even though some of them live in Seattle. And they played their first album, Walls.
Jealous, yeah.
The week
So-
six.
But
Week's end.
So-
they didn't play it in
Week's end.
order, right? Because how do you start a concert with your best song?
Yes.
So it
If
was
it's-
kind of like shuffled. It was like in different orders. And then they
'Cause
also
always
played like
close their shows with Walls.
yeah, and they played like Studying Politics, which isn't on there, and they played a few others, the party song.
Sure.
Um,
Don't do that to the party song.
It was awesome
It's
live.
a great song. Thank you, Cody.
It was
Yeah.
great.
But I mean, they were great. I was surprised like how much energy they just still had.
Oh yeah.
So the funny thing about their
they
set was they requested to play in the Shed, which is like known as the hardcore, like angriest venue of Furnace Fest. But they said they would only play if they got to play in the Shed at sundown
As the sun was setting.
as the sun was setting.
Really?
So they did. They let them do it, and so half their songs they like added all these super chuggy breakdowns to, just because they're like, "We're in the Shed, we have to." And so-
I think they
That's
even
actually
talked-
dope.
They even talked about that too, like having to make it more hardcore sounding.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So I
It was
recorded
pretty cool.
them playing Walls, and I put it up on our YouTube. But you should check it out, Tyler. The ending, they like changed the ending to be just like this, like 1 minute long breakdown.
Really?
Yeah, I'm kind of sad I left when they were doing that
Yeah,
song.
I left
Everybody
as well.
left except for me.
Yeah.
I left as
I,
well.
did, I stayed. I stayed. I
good.
watched the whole thing.
I wanted to get a good
you were
spot for
right.
Haste
You were
today.
with me.
Yeah,
That's probably a good call.
I went to Silent Planet.
So these were
Yeah,
overlapping. So you left
Yep.
Emery early to go to Silent Planet?
Yeah, it was kind of a hard call for me.
Yeah.
So I've been a fan of Silent Planet since beginning, and I obviously like theologically there's some things that I differ on with Garrett
Right.
Russell and things
Sure.
like that. But
Sure.
there's a song in particular that I really wanted to hear them play, and they actually played it. It was Panic Room.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I work in the fire service, so PTSD is like a really serious thing with a lot of the guys I work with, and even I've had my own bout with that myself and had to go get some help. And I've listened to that song probably 300 times this year.
Wow.
Just because it's so. I know he's talking about war, and there's some other. He wrote it for his buddy who's a veteran who did tours in overseas, but it's a really well written song, and it really captures the torment of PTSD in some ways. And so I actually got to talk with him at his booth, and I just thanked him for the song and being bold to like write that. And he like mentioned it from stage, that him and I like spoke, and it was super cool. Didn't like,
that was you.
Yeah, he didn't say like my name or anything, but yeah, we spoke, and he had mentioned it on stage, and I was just like really like I got a little bit emotional, because it was
That's
like
cool.
it was a really cool moment for me. Kind of like this year was really hard, and so just like going through some things at work and with the PTSD stuff, and so it was a really cool way to put like an exclamation point at the end of just going through a tough time. So yeah, I wanted to see their set just for that one song. And
Have
so,
you ever seen them
Never.
live?
Never, man. And
I've
just
seen them like 3
yeah.
times, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, so they put on a phenomenal show,
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. I was really torn leaving Emery early, but yeah, just getting to see them play that song was really cool. So
That's awesome, man. Great story.
mhm.
I feel the same way about Garrett Russell, too. Like, it's pretty cool, though, that how outspoken he is and
Yeah,
really, like, for mental health and stuff like that.
yeah.
So,
I
pretty
think he like really, really deeply cares for people. Like he's got
Yeah.
education and mental health, man. I mean, he's like he wanted to do that. He wanted to be a therapist, So, I think he just deeply cares for people, And so, I differ on him theologically on some things, but I can still,
Sure.
give him a hug at his show,
Yeah.
And
I differ with
thank
him with my footwear.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, he isn't
Yep.
wearing any, does he?
Yeah.
I saw him like
That's
kick
right,
a
that's
beach ball
right.
off the stage, and I was
That's
like,
right.
yeah, barefoot.
Yeah, that's right. And then their drummer, what's his name? Alex Camarina, the Silent Planet drummer. I mean, just getting to
Yeah.
experience him was unreal. He actually played for My Epic as well. We'll talk about that later, but
That's cool.
yeah.
How was their new stuff? I mean, Antimatter was like one of my favorite songs they released.
Sounded so good.
Sounded great.
all
Yeah,
sounded
it was great. Yeah, there was a lot of tracking, for
Yeah,
those
right.
songs,
A lot of tracks.
obviously.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy bass too.
Yeah, crazy bass, and like the guitarist, I can't remember who was running the tracking, but yeah, the sound came through really great. But the same thing happened with them. The audio got all jacked up, and they had to kind of make some changes. Thankfully they got it handled a little quicker than O Sleeper, but anyways, yeah, that's my spiel with Silent Planet.
Yep. I'm hoping to see them this month,
Mm-hmm.
later this month.
Sweet. Okay, and then after Silent Planet, you guys go and experience Haste Today, which now is just a regular occurrence because last year it was a huge deal. Like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now this year they're back.
It did not quite match the magic of last year.
I know. I'm so
Well-
sad I missed that.
There's a few reasons for that.
There is.
I mean, for one, they weren't in the shed. They weren't closing the night.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ryan wasn't there.
There was no Jimmy.
Yep. No Jimmy.
And so there was this big debate that we were having the night
not
of
a
and
debate.
after the show.
It's not a debate.
Everyone's like, dude, the mix was terrible in Haste Today. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was great. It was amazing.
Yep,
It's
same.
bad.
It's because I knew every song and I was singing along, so I couldn't
Yeah.
hear the messed up voice.
Yep.
So like I'm looking at my phone and the recordings, and I'm like, dude, I don't even hear that guitar. And like Stephen Keach's voice is like half in, half out, and like the mix was it just felt weird. Like
Interesting.
It didn't feel
It was-
full, you
I'll
know.
have to
It
go
was
back and watch
all-
the recordings.
It was all bass, all of it. It was like
Which I don't have a
turn the
problem
bass
with
up
that.
to 35, and the rest. Oh man, it was rough.
Now,
But
okay,
the
go.
energy was great. The energy was great. Like
Sure.
it was fun, and because I'm the same boat. Like I knew every song,
Yep.
but yeah, the mix was rough. But the rest of it was great.
Yeah, I mean, they played pretty much at the whole spectrum of Haste today.
Really?
You know,
Yeah.
they even did like American Love.
Yeah, that surprised me. I didn't think they'd play that at all.
Yeah, I was talking to this guy in front of me. The guy's like, "We're gonna play one of our old ones," and he's like, "Definitely Blue 42." And I was like, "No way, they're gonna play American Love." And he's like, "Why would they play that song?" And I'm like, "Because they play it every time I've seen them,
Yeah.
or twice."
No,
technically.
twice, Gary.
Technically twice, yeah. But no, so it's pretty cool. And I think they played one of their new songs, right?
They played
Yeah,
the new
Burn.
song. Yeah, the new single.
Yeah, and I like that.
It was
That
sick.
sounded good.
Really?
It was really good.
So we got to hear new Haste today, coming out soon.
Yeah,
Cody-
it was. Oh, what was that?
Was that your first time seeing Haste today?
Dude, yes. I'm like I said,
Same.
I'm so
Same.
sad that I missed
Wow.
last year with seeing Jimmy coming back, and
Yeah.
I've seen the recordings of it on YouTube. Like I can't even imagine being in that show. Like the energy
Sure.
was just unreal from last year, but this year seeing them like in person was just so like literally a bucket list for me for sure. Because those guys, I've been listening to them since high school, and like all their songs are just incredible lyrically. Where they stand in their faith is just amazing. But yeah, like near the end of this show, I literally just jumped into the circle pit for Gnaw, and it was unreal, dude. It was so much fun. It was so worth it. I still got the
For
bruises. to
Nah.
show it.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I love Nah. Nah's great. Nah's
Yeah.
my only song that I really like love off of Coward. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Nah's great.
And I lost
And
my
Gary
phone in the
made it-
process.
You lost
Oh,
your
you
phone?
did.
Yeah,
You did.
yeah.
I forgot about
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah.
That
Dude's
sucked.
like, "Who lost their phone?" He's like, "I did," and he like yanked it back, and he's like, "What's your wall screen? Like, what's your wallpaper look like?" And he's like, my wife."
Yeah.
That's
Wait,
awesome.
who gave it back to you?
Just some
Some
random
dude
dude.
in the pit. Yeah.
Just found
But
it on
he's
the
just-
ground.
He's just
Oh,
making
okay.
sure that it is Cody's, and he's not
Yeah.
just
Got
some
it.
guy being
Got
like,
it.
"No,
Steal it, yeah.
that's my phone."
Yeah.
So
All right.
Just
stand
like-
up, citizen.
Yeah, we were probably like 20 or 30 feet away from the pit. And Cody comes back and he's like, "Yeah, I lost my phone somewhere. Like, I looked for it. I can't find it." And, like, literally, like, the show's been over for 10 minutes or so. And Cody's just like, "Oh, well, like, I don't know where it is." And this guy walks by, like, holding up a phone, like,
Like,
"I found it." And Gary, we're like, "Wait." It was
That's
really funny.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Tim, so Haste Today experience for you, first time
Yeah,
ever?
yeah, first time, man. So like my favorite album. I mean, I know there's a lot of favorite albums, but I really like Coward a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool to hear them play some songs off there. But yeah, Jimmy Ryan, that was a weird situation. I didn't even really know why he wasn't with them. I'm sure you guys know, but yeah, it was just kind of it was odd experiencing them without Jimmy Ryan. But
oh yeah.
I kind of came over late to that show as well. I was trying to go and get a little bit of Unearth because I really
Oh,
wanted.
yeah.
I was
Oh, yeah,
really,
yeah.
man, I was so torn between Haste Today and Unearth, but
Dip
I
your toes in both.
yeah, I tried to do that, and I kind of like have some regrets about doing that. You know, trying to see too many bands. But anyways, we can get into that later. But there was multiple times when I would like try to meet up with the guys, and I'd be like in the back or on the side because I'd come late or whatever, you know. So, but Haste Today live was sick. I really enjoyed it.
That's
It was
cool.
a huge highlight day one.
Yeah, the only reason Jimmy Ryan showed up last year is because his other band, Trenches,
Mhm.
played
Playing,
like a
yeah.
few
Okay.
hours before. But he
Yeah,
didn't
that's
tour or
right.
do any of the other shows with them.
I got
You know, like when they did like the 3 in Indianapolis and one
I
in
see.
California or whatever. But yeah,
That's a really interesting piece of like, because you see all the bands they just list on the poster or whatever. You can't see them all,
yeah,
right?
It's,
Like,
it's,
you can't.
Yeah.
It's honestly like it's torture. You know, like it's
Yeah.
actually torture.
Yep.
Like it was the hardest thing for me.
So another cool part is there's a song from Attack of the Wolf King where Micah from O Sleeper
Oh, okay.
comes out and does it.
Yeah,
and
that
he
was
showed up. He walked up on the stage and
Yeah,
did that
that
part.
was super
Because he just
sick.
played, right before them.
Yep.
That's
But,
right.
So
remember
I was
that.
like, that's Micah.
Yeah,
I
that was
knew that
dope.
guy.
So dope.
But
that's
We
right.
can hear him this time.
That's sick. Looking at like the next part, like you got the Devil Wears Prada.
Mm-hmm.
Also, during that time, Bane and Tiny Moving Parts, and for me, that'd be a hard choice nowadays.
dude, I wanted to see Tiny Moving Parts.
I've seen
Cecil.
Devil Wears Prada like 7 times, so I don't know like what I would do there. What'd you guys end up doing during that time?
We
Just
all went to
stayed.
Devil Wears Prada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
You
the
guys all decide to stay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think too,
I think-
like the timing was a little bit off on the stages, so that was another thing. Like the heart support stage, it was kind of like trying to keep up with everything else, and so it kind of threw off some of the other schedules. At least that's the way I felt.
Yeah.
And Cecil, I never really listened to Bane, so it wasn't really like a band that I had checked off for me. Anyways,
And I think Bane's one of the most overrated bands.
What?
So,
They're like the definition of like Boston, like hardcore, the East Coast
Yeah.
hardcore, dude.
so I
like,
caught the first part
you're
of their
welcome
set.
to it. You can have it. I
Yeah.
don't need that in my life.
I've already seen Devil Wears Prada like a few times as well.
Yeah.
And I'm an OG fan, back in the day,
Sure.
and
for sure.
been heartbroken with kind of their journey as well. But I still like them. But I went and caught the first half of Bane, and that was awesome. I did enjoy it. I just never really listened to them before
Yeah.
Furnace Fest, but they're just so old, just a bunch of old dudes just ripping it up there. It was awesome. It was
That's
awesome.
funny.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Cool. So, Cody, tell me a little bit about the Devil Wears Prada then.
Tyler, you missed a show, dude. Oh my
Really?
gosh. Yeah, it was just they brought everything to the
They
table.
only played their newest album.
Mm-hmm.
They started with Cancer actually.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, but
I don't know if I think they only played one of their new songs.
Really?
Salt.
Salt, yeah.
Oh, and they played Chemical. They're like, this is for all the ladies. And I'm like, let's go!
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It was so sick, dude. Like literally banger after banger, and like I feel like with every single song they kept playing, the energy just got ramped up more and more and more.
Really?
And it was just
Yeah.
crazy, dude. So crazy.
So Tyler, we played the swearing over-under game.
yeah.
We did.
And I told
Sure.
them, we're walking there, and I'm like, all right, guys, Tyler and I did this when we saw them in Spokane. How many F-bombs, just the F word, do you think that they're going to say? And, Bobby's like, 20, let's say 20.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
like, and I'm like,
30.
way over.
Taking the
over.
over. Yeah.
Yeah, way over.
So the whole time, Bobby and Eric behind me are just, every time I hear the F word, it's like,
There's
17,
Yeah.
yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I'm recording a video here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I want to hear Tyler's guess.
What
How
do you
many?
think? What do you think?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
They
How long?
played 11 songs. They played 11 songs. I'm looking at the set list.
That's roughly what we saw them for
Yeah.
before, and I think it was somewhere around 27 to 30.
But you forget,
your
we're at a
guess?
festival,
Yeah,
and
we're
we're
at a festival.
outdoors.
There's 10,000 people there.
What does that have to do with it?
That means they're super pumped. They're going to say the F
Oh,
word even
more.
more.
Oh yeah.
It was it over 40?
Dude, it was
Yes.
55.
55. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I stopped counting at 17 because I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
We're like 2 songs in, and I'm at 17, and I'm like, I'm done.
And then Bobby
Yeah.
and Eric just kept going.
wow, over and under was at 20. You think that would be kind of like worth? Well, maybe I'll take the under. It's only 11 songs. Wow,
55.
good for them. Good for them.
Yeah, it's
But it was still a great show, right?
So yeah, they played like all their hits from back in the day. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they played
Yeah.
Des Moines.
Yeah.
They did a zombie EP song,
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
which I
that
ran
was-
in the
that
pit
was pretty
for.
sick.
That was very
Yeah.
sick. Yep. Survivor.
They did Hey John. They're like,
Classic.
the
Dogs
synth
and Groupies.
breakdown.
Yeah. They did
Wait.
Reptar.
Wait,
Yeah, they did
they did
Reptar.
Reptar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did Reptar.
And Dogs
They
and
didn't do-
Boots all over too.
Oh, they did that too. That's my jam, dude.
Dude, it was nuts.
No way. I haven't heard them play that in like a decade.
And then Mike comes out and he like announces I forget her name, the lead singer for
Dying
what was it?
Wish.
Dying Wish. Yeah.
Jeremy's fiance.
Yeah, she comes over and she smacks his butt and then she runs off the stage after she was done. So I was like, who the heck was that?
Wait, they're married now, right?
Yeah, they're married.
I think so.
They got married.
Wow.
They're
Yeah.
not just engaged. But yeah.
So that was cool, I guess.
Yeah, she went out and did a part. She did great. Like her
Yeah.
voice matched Mike's very, very well.
Yeah, because that was on Des Moines, I think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was fighting for my life, so
Oh yeah, Gary got in the pit too.
yeah.
No,
And then
you
I couldn't.
didn't.
I couldn't get out of the pit. Was the problem?
Yeah.
What song did you go in for?
Well, I think I went for a zombie EP, but then I was just staying on the end. And when they're like, "Where?" Maybe you guys have heard this one. It's called "Hey John," and all of a sudden the whole crowd's just like squeezing through you, and you're like, I just want to stop moving so I can watch the stage. Like everyone's trying to get in the pit, and it's just a can of sardines, man.
Yep.
Like,
It was madness.
That is awesome. So there are certain songs that does that to everybody. We can be sitting so far away, then they play the song, and you're like, all right, I'm going in the pit, right? August Burns Red, when they play Composure. Sorry, guys. I know it was supposed to be an elegant night, wife. We were going on a date. I'm going in the pit, and I'm coming back sweaty, right? And probably bleeding.
Yeah.
That's going to happen, and that probably happened to you guys, right?
That was night.
Tyler's
night,
eating
night
his
two.
Asian food.
Yep. Night two.
Norma
Yep.
Jean's like,
Yep.
tonight the South is on fire, and he's like,
Yeah!
throws his Asian food, and he just
Let's go. They don't know about that. So the only scene, the only venue where I live it's called Ray's Golden Lion, and it's a Chinese food restaurant by day, and at night it's like a hardcore venue, right? And
That's
so,
amazing. Dude, I love
So you go
that.
get
Sounds
like
awesome.
go get your orange chicken and do that. Cultus is playing there soon,
yeah, we're going.
and someone else. Who
Dude.
else? Yeah, so we're gonna go eat some
Light
Chinese
Worker.
food. Light Worker, yeah, that'll be sick.
Oh, it's so dope. I love those guys.
Yes.
So after the Devil Wears Prada, you guys took a break. You didn't even go check out Silverstein or Free Throw. Are you kidding me?
So I think
We
some people
listened to
did. Most of
Silverstein.
us went to the brewery across the street and got some burgers and stuff because
Yep.
we're like, dude, ABR, we gotta fuel
Refuel.
up.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I think I came in like towards the end of y'all's time there. I was trying
you
to play
like
the
came
whole.
over after Bane, I think.
Yeah, I came over for Bane.
And then it was to finish the night ABR.
Oh yeah, dude,
Oh
that
my
was
gosh,
sick.
dude.
Constellations album, correct?
Yep,
Yeah.
front to
Yes,
back.
it was unreal.
So more sound problems, more audio problems. I think they fixed it for Devil Wears Prada. Like I don't recall any issues, and it
No,
sounded so
Devil's
good.
Prada sounded great.
Yeah, but so August Burns Red started like 25 minutes late,
Mm,
and Jake went up to the front and he's like, "Hey everyone." Everyone's like, "Wah!" It's like, this is a weird way to start a show.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're having some technical difficulties. Our lights aren't working. So he went up there and he talked about heart support and what it is.
Yeah.
And, there's a booth there all weekend, which was cool hearing like his story and like his heart behind it and the intention of it, which he did for like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then eventually Chad Johnson came out and took the mic to buy more time, and he went in the back and just talking, like, hey, everyone, how's Furnace Fest? Woo. He's like, I'm just up here talking.
Who's
Yeah.
Chad Johnson? Ocho Cinco?
No, he's the guy that like he used to be the A&R guy.
Okay.
Tooth
for
and Nail.
Tooth and Nail. He had his own
Oh, okay.
record company back in the day called Strike First Records,
Gotcha.
which signed
Okay, I know
Under
who he
Oath
is. Yeah.
and discovered all that. Yeah. So he back in the day he ran Furnace Fest, and he's doing it. He's the one that ran it again.
Got
for
it.
4 more years. So he's like the guy.
Okay.
Anyway, eventually, the band's like, chug, chug, and he's like, does that mean I'm supposed to get off the stage? And they're like, chug, 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 and he's like, all right, I'm getting off the stage. But it was amazing. I've seen August Burns Red, I don't know, man, 9 times?
So we've seen them the most out of any band.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I've
Insane.
never seen them before, so that was my first time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Well, I'll tell you, that's the best I've ever seen them.
Yeah.
no way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Dude, the
it
light
was
show
hands down.
at night outside, it was insane.
It was beautiful.
Like, I turned around to Bobby doing one of the songs, and he's just standing there like, a fly or whatever, staring at those buzzy lights. I'm like, you okay, man? He's like, there's so many colors. It's like, what? But
That's awesome.
I mean, it was late, everyone's tired. We're all
Yeah.
sweaty and exhausted and full of hamburgers and beer. And so it's just like, here's a bunch of lights and metal music. And you're like,
exactly.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
I'll tell you what, my favorite moment, I actually left, like, at the Encore to catch a ride home because I didn't want to, like, get stuck. And so, anyways, I missed Composure, which I was really devastated. I could hear it from, like, the
Dude,
corner
yeah,
outside
Tyler,
the
they played
venue.
it.
I remember texting Cecil, being like, hey, dude, are they playing Composure right now? And he's like, yes, I'm sorry, dude. And, but, man, I'll tell you what, Meridian, surprisingly, Meridian was sick. Like,
That's cool.
Like that was probably, I mean, I loved it all, but Meridian, I don't know, there was something about that moment that was super special. Just seeing like Jake grab the bass and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just they kind of stepped away from the microphone, and you kind of just got to take it all in and soak it in.
Yep.
And it was
And the lights were synced so good.
yeah, and
So
it was
good.
like unhurried, you know, and you kind of just got to like really marinate in the music, and that was a really sick moment for me, for sure.
Yeah,
Cool.
At one point I was like, okay, the lights aren't working, just come out and play the show. And then we watched the show with the lights. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad.
Really?
Thank you
Oh,
for
yeah.
making us wait.
It really
Like,
makes
was so
a difference
cool.
for sure.
Well, I mean, you know how technical they are, right? Like
Yeah.
the drums are always like so fast and so on point.
Yep.
You know they're
Yeah.
playing with a click track. So the
100%.
lights like lining up with the double bass pedal, and you're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so you're like having a seizure with your ears and your eyes. You know? And
100%.
it's just, it was a great
Oh
experience.
yeah,
Cool.
and then just getting to experience JB Brubaker like live, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that was. I mean, he's
And he got a new guitar, dude.
Yeah, he
Dude.
did.
The whole
It was like gold
yeah.
with the white
Oh yeah,
stripes
the
that he
gold.
always
Yeah,
has.
exactly. But
Yeah.
that was sick too, man. Incredible.
Great way to end the
music.
first
Never
night.
seen them.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. I was kind of feeling okay with Haste and everything. Now I'm kind of pissed off. Just a little pissed off about the ABR.
Dude,
It's
of
gonna
all
get,
the nights
it's gonna
that
get
closed,
worse, my friend.
I think they were the best closers.
Yep.
Really?
Like it felt very mature.
Yeah.
Like it felt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like it was like this was professional. Like these guys know what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing, and they're closing out an amazing show.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll get to Underoath, but they had a couch on their stage. Like
Yeah.
they were having fun and closing. It was like a party.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like a here's a very serious group of guys doing something very professionally at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
Yeah.
we'll get
and
to Underoath.
we skipped the Saturday headliner, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
So that's Friday, dude.
there was no after show Friday?
Mm-mm. Well, not
There
one.
was.
There was
Yeah,
but we
there
there
didn't
was
go to
secret
it.
shows. We didn't care.
Yeah.
Good. So you went home, finally got some rest
we blacked out.
Oh yeah.
from
Yeah.
exhaustion.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Not
I'm
from
just kidding.
Knocked out.
Yeah, not from the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we moved to Saturday, and I see the first band that you guys all went to together was Idle Threat, one of my favorites.
Dude, they ruled.
So good.
Really?
They
Yeah.
ruled. Yeah.
So
Okay. So tell me about it. I've never seen them. You guys, they were there last year, right? Like
2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Cheers.
And so you had an opportunity to see them, but didn't really get to, right, Gary?
I did not. I saw the Showdown instead of them because I'm like,
Yep.
they're a young band.
Yeah, they'll be around.
I'll see them again.
Yep.
So
And
they.
I was
that
at that
opportunity.
Showdown show. I was at that Showdown show, but I didn't know Gary yet. So.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
We
cool.
were probably standing next to each
So-
other, like complaining about
Probably.
each other. You know?
I've been wanting
Yeah.
to see Idle Threat for like a couple of years now,
For
and they
sure,
actually
yeah.
came through Fayetteville. They were supposed to, with Meadows, and they were going on tour
Heck
with
yeah.
them, and they canceled the show like 3 days before.
oh.
For some reason, I had like bought tickets. It was going to be at George's, Cecil, so like a small venue,
Yeah.
and it would have been sick. And so I've been wanting to see them for a long time, and so they killed it, man. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I love their music recorded, but Zeke's vocals, dude, like live. I mean,
Yeah.
so good, dude's so talented. Playing the bass and singing at the same time is not an easy task either. Everything was great, man. Their whole band's solid.
Yeah.
Cool.
They commemorated pretty much their whole set to the guy that just passed away
Yeah.
from the Meadows. I forget his name, but
Right.
Brandon,
Yeah.
Brandon.
yeah. So it was incredible.
That's cool. Anyone else want to talk about Idle Threat specifically, or
Sure, I'd love to.
Yeah, let's do it, Gary.
So yeah, I didn't get to see them a few years ago, and talking to Bobby, who went with me a few years ago and went this time, I felt like I really missed out, and I was kind of bummed. So I'm super stoked that I was able to see them.
Yeah.
And you know, I talked to them before the show at their booth, and you know, he talked about being on our podcast, so he
Yeah.
remembered us, Tyler.
Let's go.
And so I was like, you know, you guys are like the first band that ever like reached out to us and said thanks for what you do.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be on our podcast, and we're like, I guess it's a real thing. I guess people are interested. So I thanked them a lot for like what they did for us, and like love their music. You know, they got new music coming out. I don't think they played any new songs, but their record's almost done. So
Cool.
Uh,
that's going to be
that's
awesome.
yep. But I mean, they were great. Zeke live, like, on the record, he sounds so sweet.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
But live, he's a little raspier and a little more like,
yeah,
I don't know, thricey.
yeah. That's a good way to
But
put
I mean,
it.
it's like Rocky.
Yeah.
But then Ernie,
Yeah.
dude.
Mhm.
Every time he went up to that mic, I'm like, dude, let's go. Like,
Really?
yeah, like he's so violent on that
Yes,
microphone.
he's-
Let's
like,
go.
He's incredible.
It was
yeah,
amazing.
it was super good.
So,
It was a
dude,
really good set.
I think you could tell too. They've got a really good brotherhood. They have a good brotherhood as a band, and I think that
Yeah.
translates. You see that with like ABR, right? Like those guys have a really strong brotherhood, and like the fans feel that. I feel like when there's like drama within the band, like it doesn't hit as hard, and so like when the band's like really synced up, like relationally, it makes a huge impact. And you can really tell that with those guys, and I think that was super cool. It's hard to do, man. Like it's hard to like stay humble as individuals in a band, and you could tell those guys really got that down.
They play my song, Gary.
What's your song?
Ungrateful.
No,
Oh, that song like wrecks me.
I don't think
man.
they played any from that EP.
Yeah, they played mostly Blurred Visions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Still
the whole-
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's
Well,
cool.
the one they dedicated to Brandon was like one of their oldest songs.
Oh, really?
He said it was like one of the first songs they ever wrote as a band.
Oh
That's
wow.
so cool. Yeah.
Man, you're really making me remember stuff from a week ago, Tyler.
Sorry. I just got to know all the details.
Yeah.
All right, so Idle Threat absolutely was awesome, and then next you guys hit up My Epic,
Yes.
which would be another band I would just love to see live, never have. And how was it?
Incredible.
It was excellent, dude.
Yeah.
Cody,
Really
tell
good.
Cody, tell me about it a little bit.
I've seen these guys back in Orlando, I think, maybe once or twice, but
Yeah.
they
Oh.
always put on such a good show, dude. I absolutely love I don't know, they're different in terms of their music, just what it sounds like. Everything is just so unique, and to see them perform for Furnace Fest was really, really cool. Like, it was great. I loved
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah, I've never seen them.
Yeah. So for
And I also
JT,
learned they're not from Portland, Oregon.
yeah.
They're from a different Portland.
Oh, they're from
Yeah.
Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, Kentucky actually.
Kentucky, that's right.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Kentucky.
Not the Stephen
The
King
third.
Portland,
Yeah.
the other Portland.
The
Yeah.
third.
So
Portland.
I will say this for my epic. I think I told the guys this, but they were number one for me on day two.
Yeah.
Really?
As far as bands to see, like I've been a fan since '08, since their first album came out, and just for whatever reason, like the stars have never aligned for me to be able to see them. They don't tour much, and so like when they
Yeah.
would, it'd be like Face Down Fest or something really random, and so just never got a chance to see them. But I've been a huge fan, like really
Yep.
huge fan, like devour their lyrics. I'm a musician, so like Aaron Stone and like his, he's just an incredible musician,
Yeah,
for
incredible
sure.
musician, and in the band, incredible writer. So, anyways, I was super stoked, man. It totally delivered everything I expected out of them. I think the cool part with them, I'll just keep this really brief. They released that music video, Heavy Heart, on YouTube. Super good video, but they filmed it in a small little community in Louisville, Kentucky called Portland, Kentucky. But it's like a sub community of Louisville, so it's like within Louisville Metro.
Okay.
So when I was in Bible college, I used to work in Portland at like an after school program. So I was like, I saw the video and I was like, dude, like, does Aaron live there? I was like, that's sick,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people like moving in from ministry purposes to try to kind of help revitalize the community. Super rough community, like very low income, a lot of gang violence.
Murder?
Pretty much, man. It's really bad. Like, I had young kids like murdered when I worked there, and so
Jeez.
that I like worked with, and so for real, it's a really rough
For real,
area.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was kind of crazy. I told my wife, because that was the first day she was with me, I was like, if I had one like prayer for this weekend, it would be get to like link up with Aaron Stone for just a second. I just would love to like share that experience with him. And Brittany and I were like sitting like in this area, totally remote, just kind of watching the stage or taking a break. and there's a ton of people, and then all of a sudden Aaron Stone just comes walking by himself, like right in front of us.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this is my moment, you know?
Yeah.
So
Reel him in.
yeah, I went up and talked to him briefly and just kind of shared my heart for Portland. And, you know, there's still like, still have a huge heart for those kids in that neighborhood and stuff. And he's like, dude, my daughter goes to the preschool of the place where I worked, you know? And so we just knew a lot of the same people and had a lot of like same love for that community. And so that was a really cool moment for sure. And, but yeah, it was neat, man. And we just kind of called it a day, just thanked him, and that was it. But it was just a cool thing, you know, cool experience.
Yeah.
That's so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
I loved hearing him sing, what was the last song they did? Majesty?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah, that was so
Majesty.
good.
Let's see.
Everyone was praising him in their hands.
Just,
and stuff.
dude, worship.
Really?
Yeah.
On the,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the sucky part is
So
it's like
beautiful.
the hottest part of the day on the main
it was-
stage, you know?
it was
so
Yeah.
it was hot. Freaking hot, dude.
Yep.
But
Did they
Yeah, it was
play
cool.
lower still?
No,
No.
That song.
I know.
man,
I know.
Yeah. So good.
crazy.
They played a lot of their new album, like a lot of their
Yep.
new album's sick. I mean,
I love
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
It's so good.
some bangers, but they did sample some albums from Behold, or some songs from Behold. Sorry.
yeah.
Is that
They did Bloody Angels.
Yes, that was what they opened with,
Wilderness.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Red album. With
Yep.
the solar
Yeah.
eclipse thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Violence.
Violence.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
they play Blacklight off of that? Oh, that's
Yes.
my favorite song. That's
Yeah.
my favorite song by them. So good. Oh man, okay, that's a great one.
Yeah, my epic was legit. So, very grateful for that.
I skipped Greyhaven for it. I really like Greyhaven.
I wanted to see
Oh.
them too.
My
I
epic
watched the
was-
start of Greyhaven.
Yeah, I didn't. I just went over to my epic.
Hmm.
Was it worth the skip?
Yeah, I
Oh.
really enjoyed it. Yeah, no. it
Took
was
a
great.
second.
Yeah, I saw
like, who you asking?
Greyhaven last year, so it was.
Good.
I've seen them since their EP came out, so I was like, all right,
That's cool.
see you guys.
So what's next?
Well, it looks like
There's
you
a
guys.
lot of nothing, right?
I said, looks
Yeah.
like you guys
Yeah.
literally did nothing. I don't know why you wouldn't see the Fall of Troy.
I saw them.
That's-
I went and saw Fall
We
of Troy.
Let's
listened.
go.
Yeah.
How
so I-
was FCP Remix Live?
Yeah, they were sick, man. So like,
Dude, let's
Fall
go.
of Troy, like I remember listening to them in high school. You know,
Me
they were
too,
like
yeah.
my main band, you know, but it was enough to where I was like, I have to prioritize them for sure. You know, I had a couple buddies that wanted me to take some videos of their show. But yeah, they were sick, man. Just fun. You know, it was a fun
That's
show.
cool. That's one
Yeah.
of those high school ones for sure.
Oh yeah,
I peaked Misery Signals in the Shed.
I wish I
It's
would
supposedly
have.
their last like show ever
Yeah.
in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
And you know, I don't really care for Misery Signals, but I wanted to say, yeah, I saw that. So I
Yeah,
did
saw
that,
it.
and mostly just like did merch stuff and talked to random people. I posted on our. I think we took a group photo of everyone on our Discord and
Yeah.
stuff, like
Yep.
right before my epic.
That was so cool. So cool.
So I posted it, you know, and right after I posted, everyone's like, "You're here. Let's meet up. Let's meet up. Let's meet up." So I'm just
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm in the, you know, I'm right here. I'm over here. So like all day, there's not a lot that we were like, we have to see. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to check this out. So it felt very relaxed, very chill because
Yeah,
we had a
it was
late.
great.
We were gonna have a late night.
Right. Shai Halud was my next band for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of them. Been for a while, I think. Yeah, they got. I just want to hear them play one song, and they played a lot of bangers, but "My Heart Bleeds the Darkest Blood." I mean, it was such a good song. It ripped so hard, but that was one of those ones where I was like kind of exhausted by the time their show came around and wanted to just
sure.
chill. But I was so grateful I persevered and like got in there for it.
Yeah, I think after that, you came and met us all at. The,
I did, man. I had to
at
hit
Back
that whole
40.
set, and then I came and
Yeah,
drank
you-
a couple beers.
You took my seat because I left the brewery
right.
to go watch Catch 22
That's right.
yeah.
because I'm a ska guy at heart. And so I was like, there's two ska bands? I gotta leave. See ya. So I went and watched
That's
Catch
awesome.
22, who's not like a ska band that I really like. But
Sure.
if they're ska, I
You're gonna
will
see 'em.
watch it.
You will
You
watch
got a
it.
skank. You got.
You got a skank. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went over, got my skank on.
I love it.
Watched a
Yeah,
bunch
we
of
basically
old
took
guys.
over a table at back 40, and
Yeah.
like people were just kind of coming and going, and so we got to meet a lot of people. We met a guy named Mark who was on our Discord, and we couldn't find him like all week, and like so he came and hung out with us at the table, and like he's like a pastor and stuff, like super cool dude.
Super nice.
It's just crazy how many people we got to meet and hang out, and so we're like, hey, we got dibs on a table outside of back 40, come hang out.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun, and people were coming and going. I think we all left for No Innocent Victim.
No
right?
Innocent Victim.
Yes.
That brings
Yes.
us to No Innocent Victim. You guys hung out. You built up your strength
That's right.
for one of the, if not the greatest, Christian hardcore bands of all time.
Of all time.
No Innocent Victim. And this one was the one that hurt the most, I think.
Yeah,
For
it
me.
should. It should.
Like when I saw they were on the list, I was like, "Dang it, man! This is going to be a huge show." So, Tim, sounds like you absolutely rocked by it. So I want to hear your experience.
Oh yeah, I mean, like for me, No Innocent Victim was one of the bands I had to see, and it was also one of my biggest regrets of all the Furnace Fest as well.
Because you left early.
I left early. I left like
Oh
a
my
song
God.
early to catch Slick Shoes.
No, you didn't. And what
The
song did he
song,
miss?
Tyler? The
I
song.
missed that song,
What?
which is the worst thing of all time. But I love Slick Shoes. Like grew up like skating
No.
their music.
You
And
yes, Slick Shoes is fine, but it's No Innocent Victim, dude.
listen, like I said, my biggest regret of all Furnace Fest was leaving a song early to go catch Slick
I won't-
Shoes.
I won't
It's
let
okay, I
Tim die
recorded
on
it.
that hill. Yeah,
Yeah.
I won't let Tim die on that hill alone because I was the one that drug him to see Slick Shoes.
Oh,
And I went with
no.
them too. Yeah, I talked
It
No,
to
was
you didn't.
awful, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone went. I'm like,
And you
by
invite
myself.
him on our podcast, Gary.
Yeah,
I needed to put them
All
on
three of
blast.
them left.
Yeah, it was awful,
Yeah.
man. It was my biggest regret of the whole weekend. But it's
Wow.
nonetheless, it was still sick. I
Sure.
went and bought the shirt, like the old school hardcore shirt that says like I would die tonight for my beliefs.
No, you couldn't. You can't buy that. You're not allowed to buy that
I
shirt
know,
if you didn't
but,
see the
like,
song.
I know, but
I'm
I
kidding, I'm
had
kidding.
to do it. And
why-
yes,
I bought this for Tyler.
Said it looks about my size. Oh baby,
Yeah, that's yours.
that is the sickest shirt.
Next time I
ever.
see you, it's yours.
and and I got to talk with them before, and they're just the real deal, man. I mean,
Really?
they
Yeah.
they walk out what they preach. Like there's no fluff.
Cool.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
they had like a
that's
nice
great.
little sermon.
Yeah,
Really?
Talked about like how his kid, he lost a kid
Yeah.
that passed away when they were young, and like his family's still healing and stuff. And talked about Ephesians, and like, I mean, dude, the guy like preached the gospel, and you just saw people
Yeah.
start walking out of the
Yeah.
shed,
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm not leaving. I would die tonight for my beliefs.
yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. So cool.
What's cool is so our little Thursday pre-fest show,
Yeah.
right? You got all these old school dudes. So their drummer, No Innocent Victims drummer, is also the original drummer for The Crucified,
Yeah.
which is another old school Christian hardcore. But he was playing drums for the band The Blamed. So like we just kept seeing this guy everywhere we went.
Yeah.
And it's like this is like my third time seeing this guy.
That's awesome.
But
I talked to him a little bit on Sunday because he was still there hanging out. I like ran into him and told him that he killed it, and he was like, "Man, I thought we sounded like crap, but thanks." I was like, "Dude, you were great."
Well, tell me about it, Gary. I mean, I saw the videos.
so okay, I mean they played a bunch of their songs basically
Yeah.
on Spotify. If you look at the top 10, like they basically
Sure.
played all of them. They're like this is from our new album, 20 years ago. Like
hilarious.
so they played a bunch of their stuff, and man, like the hardcore like crowd, I don't think they knew the words
Yeah.
because they're just like moshing hard. And then when he started preaching, you just saw people like put their shirt back on and leave. Like
Yeah.
they're like disgusted that they were just moshing to these Christians. But yeah, I mean, dude. So the last song, right? He's like, I want this pylon to be as tall as the lights. I want it to be 30 people tall. And you saw the video. I recorded the whole
It's wild.
everyone
so
jumping
good.
on top of each other and screaming, And so the whole time, everyone just kind of crammed at the front, waiting for that part. because it's like a 2-minute song. So you got like a minute and a half to wait until you start jumping on the stage. But so people are just like climbing on each other.
Yeah.
And it was like watching a pile of zombies try to eat the last human on Earth, dude.
It looked crazy though, but like, so you weren't a part of that. You were just from a viewpoint of seeing it happen.
On the edge of the pit on the left side, right in front of the speakers. So yeah, I just videotaped. I'm like, part of me, I was talking to Mark, who stayed with me the whole time.
Yeah.
Because he saw them back in the day, you know. I was like, I'm conflicted. Do I get in there or do I record this? You know, like, do I take a part of this and cherish it forever, but maybe not actually have a memory of it? Or do I videotape it and be like, I was there, I was at this? You know?
Yes. That's a good.
Turns out Gary would let other people die for his beliefs.
I will watch them die for their beliefs.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That has to be just one of those, though, like, defining memories of the Furnace Fest this year, right? Like, for you, like, that moment of the pile.
Yeah, they were like the holy name equivalent. Like, when I look back at, like, what was, like, the best, like, spiritual, like, what felt like the most, like, worship event.
Really?
Wow.
And, like, I think that, like, just, like, even some of their lyrics and stuff, they're so simple. There's not that many words.
Simple,
it's just hardcore, but it's like, dude, him, like, talking between songs and stuff, I just felt like we were in a room full of brothers and sisters, well, mostly brothers, in Christ, you know?
That's awesome.
And it was just, it was a cool experience to do that, you know?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, was Slick Shoes worth it? How was Slick Shoes, at least? They got to be, it's probably good, right?
It was okay.
They were great.
Yeah, it was okay. I was sulking the whole time because I could hear the NIV show behind us.
Really?
Tim was like, man, dude. You just got to say that.
There,
like, man.
I was just like, man.
Yep.
But there was like one song I wanted to hear, you know, and
for sure.
And like, it was still good, man. Like, Slick Shoes goes way back for me. Like,
yeah,
you know, 6th grade skater kid, like, listening to Slick Shoes. Like, there's a lot of nostalgia attached to that band, and they have some good lyrics, man, some good songs, and it was definitely good. But when you compare it to NIV, like, it's just hard to compare. You know, they're different. They're different categories.
Completely different categories. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so after Slick Shoes, you all decide to skip Stretch Armstrong. That seems pretty blasphemous.
I peeked in there. They're there every year, though, dude.
Yeah, they would have been my 4th year watching them.
Oh, okay, sorry, I've never seen them. But you guys all went to 5 Iron Frenzy. How many times?
I bailed on it.
Most of you guys.
Yeah, we bailed.
Okay, the people riding with Cecil went.
Okay.
I think other people. So okay. The issue with Saturday is there is another show happening at the end of the night at Workplay.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's like Demon Hunter, Impending Doom, War of Ages, Opponent, and I Am Terrified.
Yeah.
So
those are
they
some
left early. They left on time. I said early, but on time to see all those bands.
Right.
We left knowing that we'd show up right before War of Ages.
Because Cecil really wanted to see 5 Iron Frenzy.
Well, I mean, I did too. I love.
If there's ska, I'm gonna ska. Okay.
How many times have you seen 5 Iron Frenzy?
6.
Well, okay, that's not.
Dude, that's
I
awesome.
imagined it was more.
I was more of an OC Supertones guy growing
Yeah.
up. So,
Gotcha.
So
Love those guys.
Okay, so
5
I
Iron was a little
wish
too
they were
silly.
there. I wish
Got
they were
it.
there.
Same, dude. That would have been so sick.
So how was 5 Iron Frenzy though?
They were great. They played
like all their good songs.
a lot of their old, really good songs. And at one point, Reese was like, all right, we're going to play a new one, and you're all going to hate it. And I just sit there, and I was like, yep, that's correct. I hate this. Like, just go back and play your old stuff, please. And so then they did. They played a couple more old ones to finish it out. But they did all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, they played the song where it's like what's it called, Gary, where they like just play a bunch of really loud guitars really fast.
Mashed potatoes and get hit by cars.
Yeah, that one.
The 8-second song they played.
Yeah,
that.
the 8-second song where it's just like,
Yeah, the
they
trumpet.
played
Well, that's
that.
fun.
yeah, it was fun.
But if there's ska, you're there.
If there is ska,
If there is ska, you will be there.
Yep.
Careful,
Yeah.
if you play ska at home, he will.
He will show
Say
up.
his name. Say his name 3 times, and he appears.
Do I hear a
toot
tenor
your horns.
saxophone?
So that meant after that you guys bailed. You skipped Poison the Well, you skipped Seosin, and you skipped Coheed and Cambria.
Although
Yeah,
we heard
yes.
Cody and Cambria's mic check or sound check before
The one good
festival.
song that they
We were parked in VIP, so we got to hear "Welcome Home"
Yep.
Yeah, in
Okay.
full.
as they're like up there playing.
It was sick.
You know,
That's
for
like the second best song you've never heard of Favorite House Atlantic.
second.
See,
Yeah.
I like Favorite House Atlantic as well, and I said something along those lines, and Gary told me, "No, you're wrong. They only have one good song."
"Welcome Home" is the only good song.
Yep.
I mean, okay.
I learned it on Rock Band or Guitar Hero or whatever. You know.
All right, so you guys then leave because but to skip some of those bands, you're going to, War of Ages, Impending Doom, Demon Hunter. That's a pretty big set list right there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
did you miss anything, Gary and Cecil?
We missed "I Am Terrified"
Oh,
and
yeah.
"Opponent." We
I
saw
am
like the
upset
last
to miss-
song of "Opponent."
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I am upset we missed "I Am Terrified." I kind of wish they played second
They were sick.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
Yeah, they were
because
really good.
their latest singles and stuff they've been dropping lately, now that they're back together, have
Yep.
been so good.
Right.
and so
I
I was
haven't
like,
seen them since Cornerstone 2007. So it's been a long time since I've seen those guys.
Wow.
But
Yeah, Opponent
Yep.
was good. I've seen them before, enjoyed that, but I've never seen I Am Terrified, so I enjoyed
Yeah,
getting to experience that. That was crazy.
Local Birmingham dudes.
Yeah, it was insane.
that's so cool. So how many people could be at this show? Like, what's
I
the
think it 300,
capacity?
right? It was like 200 to 300.
Yeah, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was to the brim.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
It was
but
sold out.
The balcony
but
was full.
Yeah, it was full, but it wasn't bad, honestly. Like
Yeah, it wasn't.
I could. They were intentional about how they capped it off
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't want to overcrowd it and make it like a bad
Yep.
experience for everybody.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, yeah, it was crowded, but it also I've been in really, really more packed venues before. You know what I mean? So I
it
could
was
tell
crowded
they.
with AC.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
even
That
better.
helps.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
leave like the concert. So it's like a theater room. This is Workplay, right? They have 2 venues. So there's also a secret show that night at the other half of it, which
Yeah.
was Bane and Misery Signals.
Misery
Oh, wow.
signals.
So they both just played Furnace Fest. They went there and played more, right? So people bought these secret tickets to go to that one.
Which would have been
But-
crazy. That would have been a good.
Yeah,
one.
so we were in the theater room, and so we had to wait for bands to set up and whatever in between songs. So you go out to the main room where they have like their bar and all the merch
Yep.
booths, and it's
Yeah.
like the AC's pumping hard because
Yep.
it's trying to make up for the room that we're all in.
Yeah.
So like you go out there and it's almost like too cold.
Yep.
That's
Like,
awesome.
You're all sweaty, and it's
Like a
like
freezer.
it's really cold out here.
But it
But,
probably
uh,
felt great.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting theater room because it's like, so there's like stage height, which is like the floor all the way around, like it's like a box, and on the
Yeah.
inside the pit is like lowered,
Mm-hmm.
and so like you go down steps to get into the pit, kind of like the Knitting Factory, how there's steps to go down, but imagine
Sure.
all the way around.
Wow.
And it's like rails, right? Like fenced off. Like you can't just climb up the edge. It's kind of interesting. And the whole back wall on ground level has like booths
Mm-hmm.
with like little lights over them. And up top on the balcony, it's like tables and chairs. Just one table and 4 chairs, kind of room. So not a lot, but it's pretty cool. We got good spots because we got there and there's like a roped off area on the side. And Cecil and Brittany and I were talking to the security guard during Emery. He was supposed to like be like the police of the pit, make sure no one's fighting. So we were talking to him, redheaded dude, beard, and he was like the security guy there. So Cecil like went and talked to him. He was like, "Hey, there's a roped off area over here. Why? Can we stand there?" And so he like asked about it, and he came and took it away, and we were like, "Whoop!" Squeezed
That's
right
awesome.
in.
Yep.
And we got like so close. So like all my videos are like on the front of
Right
the
there.
balcony, like right there.
Wow.
So
It's a
we
great
saw
spot.
Cody and Tim in the pit, and we're like, "Hey, look, we got sweet spots," But,
That's so cool.
yeah, it was
Then
a
we
great, it
watched
was a
them
good
get
night.
mauled in the pit.
Yeah, we watched them disappear.
Did the mauling start for War of Ages, or was it
Dude.
Impending Doom? that
Impending
took over?
Doom.
Just like when War of Ages started back
War
then.
of Ages
like,
definitely primed it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, War of
Yeah.
Ages knows how to start a show.
Yeah, that's
to get
right.
people pumped.
That's
Oh my
right.
gosh.
War and Navy, they played first before Impending Doom. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They only
So-
played like 5 songs or something.
I know, dude. I wish it
Yeah.
was way more. I was so
Yeah.
bummed about that.
Leroy had
Yeah,
to lean over.
they-
He was like, "Are we good?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a highlight, man. Getting in the pit with Cody, like that was just we both made the decision together. We're like, dude, we're doing it, and we went in and just got obliterated, but it was awesome.
Yep.
so fun, man. I felt like a kid again in the mosh, and so
That's so cool.
knew all the songs, for
Yeah.
Impending Doom, and which makes it all the more fun. You know, just getting to like scream all the songs with them.
Mm-hmm.
And
For sure.
and I think War of Ages was great because of just all the stuff they've been through the past few years as a band. And so, like, I never
Did you
thought.
see their drummer?
Yeah. He's from Phineas,
Their new
right?
drummer.
Phineas is
Phineas drummer, right?
Yeah, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was confused if he was a drummer or a superhuman or a drum machine. He was
Insane.
incredible.
He's amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
Phineas is a band too, like, coming from that band's crazy. But anyways, so I didn't know like everything that they had been through. I was like, man, am I ever gonna see these guys again? Like
Right,
I was
yeah.
like, dude. And then they came out with that new album,
Yeah.
and
Dominion.
and
So
I don't
good.
know, I was just getting so jacked. I would say of
Yeah.
all the band shirts I have, most of them are War of Ages, and
Really?
so I've just been a really big fan for a long time. And so
Have you seen them before?
I
Or is this
have.
your first time?
I have.
Okay.
This is like my third, probably, but love those guys, man. So that was a huge highlight for me. And then experiencing Brooke Reeves in the
Dude.
flesh.
Dude.
It's been like
Yeah.
10 years since I've seen him, but
Yes.
he's come a long way since 10 years.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that
Dude, and
dude's
the
a
Jesus shout out.
gosh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Follow Jesus.
So powerful,
follow
dude.
Jesus. Follow
Yeah.
Jesus.
So powerful.
Unbelievable, man. That show was sick. The whole thing.
That's cool. So, War of Ages, they played all their
yeah.
hopefully great songs. You guys all screamed
Mhm.
all-consuming podcast.
I pointed to
Yeah,
Gary.
they-
Yeah.
All-consuming fire.
They did close with that
They
song.
closed it. Yeah.
Good.
They closed it
Yeah,
out.
I
was
went and
great.
talked to Leroy
Yeah.
afterwards.
And said, change
You
your
know,
lyrics.
I shook his hand and I was like, "Hey, my buddy and I love you guys. We started our podcast. We couldn't come up with a name, and we just picked All-Consuming Fire and just put podcast in, thinking we're funny." And he's like, "I've heard of this podcast." He's like, "I'm not on social media, but people have told me." And I was like, "Yeah, like we love your guys' stuff. Like you're a big inspiration." He's just like, "Thank you."
That's cool.
That's
Conversation
awesome.
over. Next person in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still pretty sweet, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, with Impending Doom, I've seen them one time. And it was before I became, like, a super fan. And so I never got to really appreciate it. If I saw
Dude, it was
Impending
before
Doom
Baptized
now,
in Filth.
It was before Baptized in
Whoa,
Filth, yes.
Wow.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
And so if I saw them
with
now,
Florida Bay, yeah.
it would change my life.
So
Dude.
I saw them last year at Furnace Fest.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. It sucked.
Yeah.
Like
They did.
they were great, but it's like, middle of the day, let's listen to some really heavy metal,
Sure.
like in the hottest part, and it's
I
just
feel like they
wow.
opened the main
They opened.
stage that
They
year.
did.
Yeah,
They opened the main stage, and it's just-
stage, and it was just
Man.
like,
wrong energy for
Yeah.
1 p.m. 89 degrees outside.
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, I like this song. I'm not moving though.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going out there in the sun. So seeing them like this at night, and like, so they have like stage lights on, and he's like, can we turn these stage lights off? I want it grim.
Yeah.
And it was like
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All my videos I have, they're garbage. Like
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't
everything's
see
so like
anything.
pixelated
Yeah.
and like
It's so hard to
you just
see
have the
anything.
lights in the background kind of flashing as they play, But
Wow.
Yeah. I
That's
think
awesome.
I think my favorite song they did was Death Will Rain. I mean,
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that
it went
song,
so hard.
it goes so hard, dude.
So hard.
I got kicked in the chest for that one. I think somebody kicked me in the chest. But just made
it's
it
kind
all
of a
the
funny
more-
energy because you got like this like circle pit energy with War
Yeah.
of Ages.
Yeah.
Then you got mosh pit murder your friends with
Yeah.
Impending Doom.
Sure.
And then Demon Hunter comes out and we're all singing songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a
Sing
sing
along.
along.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
crowd difference was hilarious. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're standing like above the pit, right?
Yeah.
And so we're just like, yeah, definitely watching Demon Hunter. But
Yeah, I didn't mosh to Demon
My-
Hunter. Yeah.
No.
What? You didn't mosh to
No,
Driving
man.
Nails?
Tyler.
I mean,
Demon
yeah.
Hunter played 20 songs.
Yeah,
No, they
20
didn't.
songs.
Oh my
They
gosh,
played
it was a
20.
stack
No,
set.
And it was
Okay,
amazing.
We got out at like 1:30, dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
played 20 songs.
One
20
from
songs,
every,
and they didn't start till
One from
11:30.
every album.
One from every,
Yeah.
Which was
They
great.
waited so long for Furnace Fest people.
Wait,
Yeah.
one from every album.
Mm-hmm.
They should have played two from all the early albums. And just
Yeah.
okay,
Okay,
cool.
technically
Well, they
they
did.
played 2 from Triptych because they
Mhm.
played the you know,
Playing the
that
Guys
thing.
is Home, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they did Not I, right?
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah.
great.
So good.
Yeah, it was
Like-
so good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff, they played like all their best stuff. They even did all the ballads, you know. He dedicated a song to his mom who passed away from cancer last year.
And his brother was there, so it was like a cool moment.
Yeah, I was like, so I'm like recording all these videos, and his brother's just like leaning on a pillar.
Yeah.
And, like bobbing his head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when is he coming out?
I know.
I was
I thought
hoping,
the
dude.
same thing.
I was hoping. It would have been so sick.
And I was waiting for them to play My Light Unseen.
Yes, they never
that'd
played
have
it.
been
Ryan,
They even had the shirt.
I know, I bought it. Like, I was like, you're going to play it, dude. And they didn't play it. I was so sad.
That'd be
That's
sick.
Tyler's favorite Demon Hunter song.
It's one of my favorites, too.
It's okay.
Well,
My favorite Demon Hunter songs are usually from the Triptych or earlier, you know, like it has to be.
Yeah, My Light Unseen is an Impending Doom song.
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
But it's
Right,
still
right.
like not very heavy. So
Right. It's the heaviest Demon Hunter.
it's like, okay, you had to bring Demon Hunter here to go so soft. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Now I'm just
But
ranting.
the vibe was just very different. Like, it was really
It was.
good.
For sure.
But like during Impending Doom, my wife my wife went with us this year. But my wife is like taking videos of Tim in the mosh pit so that she can send them to Tim's wife. Like, yeah, look at this, and then by the time Demon Hunter came on, Tim and Cody came up and joined us on the balcony. Like,
Yeah.
we're actually gonna enjoy this.
Yeah,
this
we're
show.
gonna-
We're going to take a break.
I mean,
will-
they put on a great show.
I
You
will
know, they
say this,
perform.
man. The last one alive, that when they played that, that was probably my favorite.
Yes.
I mean, it's a newer song, and I'm
Sure.
obviously obsessed with the
Newer,
old stuff.
2010.
But yeah, is it that?
It might be 12,
I was gonna say, dang. Oh, okay.
14.
Anyways, of all the ones, I enjoyed that one the most. I think that was just
Cool.
they
Yeah,
performed.
they
that one really
played
well.
The Last One Alive and My Heart is a Graveyard from
Yeah,
Extremist.
that was a
Yeah.
good one.
And like My Heart is a Graveyard is like my favorite song on that album.
Yeah,
So good.
So good.
Sounds like an awesome night. Like,
it was on
way
It
better.
was.
Obviously, no regrets leaving Furnace Fest
None.
to go to those.
None
Nope.
at all.
Nope.
So that's awesome.
Worth every
And that's
second.
just like a little extra, man. Like a little icing on the cake.
Yep.
Has Furnace Fest done that before? Have they done all these pre and after shows?
Yeah.
Really?
Pre-shows, yes. I don't remember.
They've done
shows last year.
they've done after parties. There was the first year I went 2 years ago with Bobby. We were gonna go see Gideon and Aaron Gillespie play at a local place, but it's like they started at 11, and Gideon wouldn't even be on until 1, and we were like, no way, day 1, no, we're done, and like
No way.
so they've done stuff like this. It's not like every day that they would do it, but they
Sure.
they do like, you know, hey, this band's in town. Let's book them nearby
Let's do it.
and have them start after the last band plays. You know,
What time did you get home?
that one was late, dude. So Impending Doom, or Demon Hunter was like, Ryan Clark was like, it's late. We're not doing an encore. We're gonna play straight through, no talking. We're gonna get it done so you guys can go to bed.
Yep, he literally said that too from the stage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow. So are we talking 1 a.m.?
Yeah.
It didn't
so.
end till 1:30.
Yeah.
It ended at 1:30.
yeah.
Wow.
So then we had to walk back to the van, 10-15 minute drive. I think I crawled into bed about 2:45 after being the third in line for a shower in my Airbnb. So it's like,
Yeah.
Jeez.
I just wanted like an omelet or something, dude. I was starving. We got back to our room and Bobby's like, you know, I have these chewy bars. I'm like, all right.
Thanks. I'll take that.
I needed something because it's just it was a late night. Didn't eat.
Sure.
You know, you saw the like we started at, you know, when was No Innocent Victim? Like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Boom. Like
Six-
didn't eat
6:40,
from 5
yeah.
to 1 a.m. And it's like
yeah.
Need
just
something in
dying.
your stomach, yeah.
But
Well, then you woke up the next day for the last day of Furnace Fest, and you guys went to 68, it looks
Yeah.
like, first.
Yeah.
And I know Gary is a huge Chariot fan, and so I'm assuming he's also a big 68 fan, too.
hey, they played a Chariot song. That was
They
cool.
They did.
It was a
They
huge
did.
surprise. Yeah.
I'm actually being facetious. Gary actually does not
Loves
like the Chariot.
the Chariot.
Does not like the Chariot
I
at
don't
all.
either.
It's his
Not
big...
about, I don't know about not
What?
at all. There's
You're
good
both-
songs.
Yeah.
It's
saw
his
them
biggest
live.
flaw. It's his red flag. It's,
Yeah.
it's really his red flag. So.
I can never get into them either.
Thanks, Cody.
So legitimately, The Fiancé is in my top 5 greatest albums of all time.
And I like that album.
Yeah,
I s-
that's
okay.
their. In my opinion, that's their best album. I know
Sure.
that's an unpopular hot take, but
All right, so you guys went to 68, and how was that?
oh yeah,
Sick.
It was amazing.
it was awesome.
really sick.
Really?
His little
I'm-
speech about AI
Yeah.
was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that was
he did.
hilarious.
What's so
He
funny?
did go on a bit of a tirade about like we are real humans making real music.
Oh yeah.
and
Using real equipment. He's like,
Using
I
real
can make a
equi- he's
guitar
like-
like this. Then you
Yeah,
hit
he's
the
like
pedal. He's like,
teaching
they
you
can
how
do
to
this. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's like teaching the crowd about loops and delays. But like, yeah,
his point is valid though. Like they weren't using tracks. you
Yeah.
know? There's not a lot of people up there making a lot of noise, right?
Yeah.
And like you look at other bands, like I mean even Demon Hunter, right? Like we knew they were playing tracks for certain songs, and like hearing like double vocals and stuff, and like oh there's a
Sure.
background vocal here, or you know there's no synth player out there, but I hear a synth. You know like
Yeah.
there's no one playing those. And his point was that we're making real live music that's real and you know authentic, you know from humans, which is cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know what his soapbox was for. He didn't have a conclusion of like. I think it geared towards like don't trust AI, but
Yeah. I would say I'm a big I would say I'm a Chariot fan. You know their
Yeah.
song. Yeah. I mean just the whole. I think I would
De La
say
Holy.
even more. Yeah. I would say even more so. I'm a Scogin fan. You know, like he's just
Sure.
yeah.
experiencing him. I think I read an Instagram comment that said Josh Scogin headlined every day at Furnace Fest this year, just because like he just had such a massive presence, you know. And we'll
Sure.
get into like the historic moment later on in this last day, but I would definitely say I was super disappointed they didn't play the city though. That would have been
Oh yeah.
insane. I think that would have.
that's
hit
what they
hard.
did 2 years ago.
I know.
They did that 2 years
I heard
ago.
they did.
So he couldn't do it both
I
times.
know. I missed it. So, but
So 68. That's the last we're gonna hear of Scogin at all. He didn't do anything crazy later, so that's
yeah,
good.
That's
yeah.
it. That's
Yeah,
the
that's the only thing
Nothing.
he did.
That's the
Yeah,
end.
that's crazy, huh?
And
Yeah.
and you guys then went from 68 to Not Waving but Drowning. And I've never heard of them.
So did any of us actually go?
No, I think I did merch. I think I did
Yeah,
merch
same.
during that
Yeah,
time.
I went
Yeah.
and checked.
Hold
I
on.
went and checked on a couple of people who were still in merch line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got pizza. Some of the amazing pizza. by the way.
Gary sent me
Yeah.
this and it's hearted.
Blindside.
So hey,
ones.
I'll tell you, I saw them,
Okay.
but I got pizza first and then went. One of the guys that went with us, Austin, and his brother and sister, they're up from New York. They were like
Sure.
in the pit for Not Waving But Drowning. So Not Waving But Drowning is an old face down band.
Okay.
Old. They used to be on the Strike First records that Chad Johnson was on and stuff.
Sure.
So that's part of the reason they're there. But I went and watched them. I walk up with my pizza, and I like hear this person screaming. Tim, I think you were there. You joined at the
I
later
think I
end of that
did.
because
I
we
think
were
I did.
we were chatting in the back, and I'm like, "Where's their vocalist?"
Yeah,
Like-
and he was in the pit. I found out he was
Yeah,
in the pit.
the whole
yeah.
time he was in the pit,
Yeah.
and I'm
Wow.
like, "Is this
That's right.
like? Are they using is this a track?
That's
that they're just
right.
playing
That's
to
right.
like their lead singers like screaming?
It
I'm
was
like,
super awkward at
going
first.
on?
We're like, seriously, like, where is he? You know?
Yeah.
It took us forever.
No, you,
And I think
So he was
Gary-
just
I
he was
think
just in
Gary
the
gave
pit
up
with a
and, like,
wireless mic.
yeah, it was hilarious.
that's funny.
Yeah, Austin has a picture like taking a selfie with him in the mosh pit.
That's
That's
awesome.
Yeah. So that's pretty fun. I mean, at the pond stage. So
Sweet. And so then you guys went to one of the best bands, the Showdown,
Yeah.
The Showdown.
right? And you guys all went and saw the Showdown?
Yeah, they were great. They were
Yep.
so good.
Better than last year?
2 years ago,
2 years ago?
Yes, I think so. Well,
Oh.
it was
I don't know. It was the same.
They
They
were
played
both
different
pretty
songs,
good.
so that's cool.
yeah. Both were in the shed, so it's good.
Cool.
They were able to move to the shed because the band backed out. They were on the main stage, and I was
Oh.
like,
Mhm.
oh,
They kind of
that's
switched
kinda
their slot.
suck. But yeah, so they moved to the shed. They were great. You know, their drummer's still yoked, and
Oh, yeah.
you know they're
Yeah.
playing with their really pretty guitars, and
Yeah.
they played some really awesome southern metal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The drummer
Josh
owns
Scogin
the
showed up
stage
and
that
did a
he's-
song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the drummer owns the stage that they played on, the Arsenal Strength stage.
Yeah, he was wearing a tank top that said "Jesus is King" on it.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, I guess he
That's
owns
cool.
that company. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Really?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so dope.
yeah, he owns Arsenal Strength, the drummer.
That's
Wow.
cool.
Yeah,
I did not know that actually.
yeah, yeah.
Any standout songs or things you want to talk about
So,
from the
dude,
Showdown?
they played their old stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They
Which
even
is
had
awesome.
a special like Furnace Fest variant of it. that they were selling at their booth, so I had to buy that, even though I already bought the other one. So we got a giveaway coming out soon.
Hey,
because I got 2 copies. Yeah, they played like Monument and Case and Ash.
sweet.
They played a few others like that.
Backbreaker.
Yeah, they did Backbreaker. They did one from Temptation Come My Way.
Oh yeah, that was a good
They
one.
did Temptation Come My Way.
Yeah, they did.
Um,
It was so good.
which was interesting because it's like, I love that album. It's very Southern metal. It's
Sure.
Pantera-y, and but the mosh pit just stopped moving.
Yep.
Really?
Like they played the song and everyone just kind of standing around
Everyone
like,
was
yeah,
just
this is
kinda
great,
grooving.
rocking their heads, but the mosh pit was just dead. And then they did that Dagon song. What is that?
Dagon.
It's like the
It's from their first album.
Dagon Undone.
Yeah.
The Reckoning.
Yeah. I think they did that one.
Yeah, they did.
But I don't know, dude. They're so heavy live, and I really wish that first album, like, that they would just like re-record it, like
Yeah.
as because the worst part is the production. But man, that is such a great album.
It was funny
sure.
too because like in the beginning of the show, there were some guys on the side stage. They were just throwing water balloons in the crowd. It was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Like they caught us
That's
completely
awesome.
off guard.
Slingshot,
Yeah, somebody got like hit right in the face. It was just like, what the heck just happened? He was like right behind me. I mean,
Just
like,
pelting them with them.
it was like
It's so
dart,
awesome.
man. I mean, he threw a dart at this guy. Like, it would have left a mark on his face. Just straight up
awesome.
chucked it. Yeah, it was
That's
awesome.
funny.
So the
I got
guest
to meet my best
person,
friend though during that time too. My fireman,
Oh?
the big colossal.
the other mustache
Oh
dude,
yeah, the overalls and the boots. Yeah,
He had
That
A
was
big
dope.
strong
His
guy with the
Carhartt.
mustache.
Carhartt booty shorts,
Yeah,
like,
he had like,
overalls,
Carhartt kids, and he
Booty
cut the
shorts?
Booty shorts.
the hoochie short. It's
Gucci shorts.
onesie.
You don't call them booty shorts.
That's Cecil's thing. Hoochie daddy shorts.
Hoochie Daddy shorts.
Yeah, I think.
And they were Carhartt pants cut into that?
and like boots. Yeah, and then I mean, he's just jacked. I mean, he's built like a house. And then
What did his shirt say?
He's a big
F
dude.
communist.
It says F communist.
Did it actually say the word?
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's like, dude, you like his shirt? I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, it's hilarious. I mean, especially at like a festival like that where it's just such a mixed bag of people. You know? They just said F communism. He just got this. Yeah. And anyway, this is a funny part too. He was like, dude, I'm gonna go get some more beers. I'll bring you guys back one. I totally thought I would never see him again. You know what I mean? Like,
He was done.
I just thought like he was out. I was like, all right, cool, dude. I'll just whatever you're drinking, you know. And he comes back like he had fought his way to the front, and he had this like little kid's like clear backpack, and it's full of like 32-ounce Bud Heavies or Bud
No
Lights.
way.
And it's like an hour later, you know. And I'm just like, that's incredible. He like came back, you know. It was awesome.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, it was
And
so good.
did you share a beer with him?
Oh yeah. It was
That's
a
awesome.
great moment. Yeah, it was a great
That's a
moment.
really cool
Yeah.
moment.
Anyways, that was pretty fun. His shirt and his whole outfit though was like the highlight of the day.
Yeah,
It was one
dude,
of
he
the
was
high-
jacked.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
like muscular
Yeah.
dude, big mustache, and
It
he's wearing
was-
that Carhartt overall
Oh,
hoochie
it was
shorts.
hilarious, dude. Me and Brittany and my wife, we laughed about it for like days, like after, you know, just like,
If I could pull it off, I'd do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would too.
You could pull it off, Gary.
You could
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
pull it off, Gary.
I'm not strong enough. Sorry.
So after the showdown.
Wait, we're not
Oh,
done.
more. Oh,
So
sorry.
over the weekend, like there was one person that kept showing up on every stage, and we haven't even mentioned it. Austin from The Undertaking showed up for
Oh,
Idle
he
Threat.
did, yeah.
Yeah, he
He
did.
did. What's his name's part of their song on Driftwood
Yeah.
Oh,
from Norma Jean?
yeah. Brandon.
Yeah.
Corey Brandon.
And
Corey Brandon.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's right.
part in
That's
over here.
right.
So he did his part, which was fun. You know, got everyone up on
Mm-hmm.
up to the stage and is shoving mics in people's faces. He did Josh Scoggins' part for The Undertaking, right on
For
whatever song that
the
was.
showdown. The showdown. Not
What
the
did I say?
Undertaking.
Undertaking.
The Undertaking.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. You know. So yeah, he did the Josh Scoggins part for the showdown, which was fun. And I was like, I kind of wished I knew he was doing that
Yeah.
because I would have like got the words figured out and memorized, and I would have hopped up there. What else did he show up for? His own band.
His own band. Yeah.
I feel like he showed up a couple more times, but Emery, was he there for Emery? No.
Did see the video he posted, and I saw Gary in it where he's going up and like fist bumping or high fiving people.
High fiving random people, and he zooms into my beard. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Austin's a great guy.
Yeah, he was super cool. I enjoyed meeting him.
Yeah. Great.
So moving on.
Yeah, so after Showdown, nobody went and saw Mind Force?
I did. I was there for...
I stayed and watched some Mind Force.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Tell me
there.
about it.
I mean, they ripped, man. Just like they're from New York, right? Like,
Yeah.
So like they had that New York accent, you know, and it was like, "F this boy," you know. You just like kind of like the Beastie Boys kind of vibe.
Oh, for sure.
But they ripped, man. I enjoyed it. This classic, like old school hardcore vibes, you know. And so they were definitely a lot of fun. I was glad I stayed.
Were there a lot of karate kicks thrown?
Oh yeah, like in the pit there. And then even the lead singer, I don't know, Cecil, correct me. I feel like he was moving quite a bit. He was all over the place.
Yeah, I'm a huge Mind Force guy, and Gary makes fun of me on the daily for it. So
daily,
yes, that or Taylor Swift, either one.
I watched Mind Force last year. I told you all about them.
True, you did.
Yeah,
and you even listened to Turnstile a little bit for me too.
I did. I was at
That's
Turnstile for you.
As we were leaving, just for you, we were like, well, for Tyler.
Dogwood was then next, and Gary has introduced me to Dogwood. Never heard of them before, but I know you guys. Were looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, yeah. They
I
were
was
my
super pumped for Dogwood.
I was the same as you, Tyler.
Yeah,
I've
definitely
never
my
heard
top
of them
3
before. They were so good.
Okay.
The lead singer was hilarious. He was just like, he had that very weird, like, I don't know how to describe it. He was just very, like, you know, just...
He's a really happy guy.
Really happy guy, yeah. He was just great.
Yeah.
He made it so much fun.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those sets. It's like, we don't play anymore, so I'm not used to being able to sing and do all this for 40 straight minutes. So there was a lot of crowd involvement in the vocals.
That's awesome.
Which some people find annoying. I find it super fun, especially as a band. Like, I know the majority of the lyrics too. And so I had talked to him in the merch mall before the show. Like, I bought a hat, and people were making fun of him because he didn't bring enough plus-size T-shirts. He, like, brought a bunch of regular-sized, and, like, this guy was like, we're all 40 and plus. We all need 2X or bigger, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, and he's like, I don't know. We sold them all. He's like, you messed up, man. But it was kind of funny. But it was awesome. They played so many songs that I've grown up with. I've listened to Dogwood for forever. I'm super pumped for the unoriginal vinyl version of Dogwood. Like, I love Building a Better Me. It's one of my favorite albums. So man, I've already spent so much money on vinyl, but it's like, yep, I have to buy that.
Yeah, that's right.
But they were a blast. And then again, Tim had another bonding moment with their drummer. I leaned over, I was like, Tim, this guy's got to be your brother from San Diego. And at one point, the drummer's like, so I'm a firefighter from San Diego? And I was like, I knew it.
Yeah, it was awesome. I tried to find him, like, the rest of the fest, and I just couldn't find him. But anyways, Dogwood was really sick. They were in my top, like, 4 I wanted to see for Furnace Fest.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It was one of those ones where, like, I grew up with the Tooth and Nail samplers, like the sampler CDs back in, like, middle school. And so, like, I would rip those on my skateboard, you know, like, just all the time. And Dogwood and Slick Shoes, they were, like, 2 bands that I listened to when I was, like, 6th grade, you know.
That's
and
cool.
So,
and Hangnail and Cody Hook.
Oh, yeah, man, so good. So, I don't know. I think I enjoyed it because Cody hadn't really listened to Dogwood.
Yeah.
And, like, we're, like, all singing the songs, like, every word. And he's like, dude, these guys are legit, you know? And I think, too, the lead singer, like, his whole personality, like, we've already talked about, but, like, he just brought this really fun energy. I think at one point he's like, you guys ready to have some freaking fun? He's like, we're going to go nuts. But there's a clip of it somewhere. I think I actually have the clip. I'll have to send it out. But
that's funny.
But you could tell he's, like, trying not to cuss, you know, because he's about to sing a bunch of, like, Christian songs. You know?
It was funny, too, because there was this kid that kept stage diving all throughout the festival
all
weekend.
Yeah,
He's like, I love this kid. This kid's amazing.
Yeah,
you
that's
just
right,
you just see
that's
him fall
right.
off the stage. It's so great.
That's awesome.
yeah. But anyways, I really enjoyed their set. They did really good. I mean, really, really
Really.
good. Oh,
Gary, is that your feeling too? Anything
Oh,
to
yeah.
add to that?
No, I had a great time. I grew up on like that punk stuff. Like Goaty Hook was my favorite band as a kid, and like so Dogwood was something that like my youth group friends and I would listen to. They all skated, and I'd go to their house and watch them skate.
Sure.
But yeah, Dogwood was like one that we always played. Building a Better Me, like Never Die, Do or Die, another song.
Yeah.
Those are
And so he just played like all of my like favorite songs, and like it's crazy that I knew like a lot of the words to the songs, but I couldn't tell you the song names.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm bad about that in a lot of bands.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a good time. I've never seen them live, even though they're south of us, not that far.
Right.
But it was great. It was great seeing them, and like they, vocally, he sounded the same. as
Yeah,
his
he
album.
did,
That's
man.
cool.
He really
Yeah.
did.
I didn't think he would because his voice is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like maybe it was a young voice, and now that he's older, it's not going to sound the same. But no,
Yeah.
close your eyes and you're listening to the album. It was great.
Yeah.
That's
They,
cool.
they played really well.
Till he'd run out of breath.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Then you were listening to some kid who knew half the lyrics. But
Okay. And after Dogwood, it looks like you finally, Cecil, got to see Extol.
yeah, so after Dogwood until Extol, I was like a nervous wreck. I was like, oh, man.
Thinking that they were going to cancel on you again.
They
broke their leg and
couldn't make it.
Yeah, that plus, like, I've been building this up for 2 years, and what if they suck? Like, I was like, oh no.
Dude, and they
It's
did
like
not.
the pre-wedding jitters. Like, what do you
Oh.
mean, man? Like, that's crazy.
I'm not exaggerating when I was like, I was literally nervous. Like, this could be.
So what did you think of Bruce? So Bruce Fitzhugh of Living Sacrifice was their vocalist for
That's
Extol.
yeah,
so
in the
yeah. So
States,
Peter,
what's the story?
their-
Why did he do that? Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, so Peter, their lead vocalist, part of the reason that Extol stopped touring and kind of went on a big hiatus, like 2005, 2006-ish, was Peter. He struggles with a lot of mental health issues, and he basically got to a point where he was not able or willing to tour anymore. Like, at one point, he self-checked himself into, like, the mental health services of Norway, which in Norway means you're like committing to move you and your family like into a facility for a couple of years because they do like whole family inclusion. That way, it's not like you're like separated
Doing it
from your
alone.
family because
Yeah.
obviously that's gonna help, right? Separate yourself from everyone you love. But so he did that, and so Extol kind of stopped touring, and a bunch of the guys did different bands and different groups, and when they got back together and recorded their album in 2013, he recorded the album, but they didn't tour it. They didn't do anything like that. So they've played a handful of shows over the last few years, and they've had Elisha Mullins from Miss May I and
War of Ages.
War of Ages and Flesh Killer, all those guys. He just kind of did their vocals. Well, he's on tour right now with Miss May I, so they didn't have their normal fill-in vocalist. So they listed like Living Sacrifice as one of their biggest influences, which is just crazy. You think about a band that started in 1993, and they're like, yeah, Living Sacrifice was one of my biggest influences. You're like,
Right.
man, those guys really are old, right? Like, half the people at that festival weren't born in 1993. But so they've known Bruce for a long time, and so finally, 7 weeks ago, they finally announced it official. But then it's like, okay, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? So it finally did, and musicianship was everything I could have ever dreamed of. Like, they were awesome. As an Extol fan club member, like, Bruce was great. Like, tonally, I thought he did a super good job. It was kind of a bummer. He definitely didn't know the words. It was really funny.
Yeah, he's always like looking to the side, like reading a sheet.
Really?
He spent like the entire set reading the lyrics off of an iPad or something.
Oh.
So as an Extol fan, like there were definitely parts where he was like a half beat behind, and so I could notice it, but
Because
like,
you know the song, right?
because I know the song forwards and backwards, and I've listened to it. I mean, I literally have one of their album covers tattooed on my leg. Like, so as a purist, I was like, man, I wish it was Peter. But as a fan, like, he came in there and ripped. Like, they sounded great. I thought that that Bruce sounded awesome, especially in the parts that he really knew. But man, they killed it, and all four of the guys, like, they sounded super good live. The mix was a lot better by Sunday. Like, the sound issues really solved themselves Friday night, so the clean vocals were really good. And like,
I thought it was funny that people on Facebook are like, "This is what the big hubbub about the wristband is all about." You know, like people are like, "This is the band."
Yeah, I was like,
But-
well, you're all idiots. That's what I thought. But no, they were awesome. They were exactly what I expected them to be.
Cool.
Just pretty
Yeah, I
intricate.
texted a picture to my dad, and he was very jealous.
Yeah, super intricate. I love metal. Like, it's kind of funny. It's either ska or like progressive, really intricate, timey signature metal. So it's like I go to two pretty extremes, but they were awesome. I think the show ended and like I just walked back away because I was really close to the front for them, and I like found like Robert from the
With Blood
podcast
Comes
group.
Cleansing.
Yeah, lead singer. I just found him and just like hugged him. I was like, they didn't suck. He's like, they didn't suck, buddy. I'm like,
That's awesome.
yeah, it was a huge relief.
That's cool.
I enjoyed it.
Yep.
It's hard for me because I knew I was gonna love it regardless. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what everyone else says. But
Well, anyone else have anything on Extol after that?
No, I
yeah,
mean,
you don't have to.
you
You can tell me
I
they
agree.
sucked.
I loved it, man. The musicianship was insane. Like, I'm a guitar player, and so like I always go to bass and guitar when I'm like watching live music, and I have a deep appreciation for both. But yeah, just watching them rip. I mean, it was so good. I mean, they were so good musically.
Yeah, I was sitting at the tree line for most of it, just listening to it.
Yeah,
I actually
it was
left.
nice.
I left early. Unfortunately,
No.
I didn't want to tell.
That's kind of the theme.
For
I didn't
Comeback
wanna
Kid?
tell. Yeah, I am a diehard Comeback Kid guy.
Love
so
Comeback Kid.
I had to be in the pit for Wake the Dead, man. I could not miss that moment, and so
Yeah,
Yep.
I was more so excited for Cecil. Like, I was like pumping him up. I'm like, dude, I'm so happy that you're finally being able to listen to these guys. But for me, it was amazing. But I was just chilling with like Gary, Bobby, and Eric. And at that point in the day, I was really starting to feel it. Like I'm getting tired now from
Yeah.
the night prior. So I was like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, just enjoying it. Just this is a nice band to just sit here and just watch and listen.
For sure.
It
For
was
sure.
great.
yeah.
Dang. Well, that's cool, man. So, go for
The
it.
set list was really good too. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't play any. Like, they played literally the best set list I could have designed in the
Cool.
45 minutes they get. So
Yeah.
I'll say
it's-
they were fine.
it's great. Yeah, they were.
That's
fun.
big. That's big from Gary. That's big.
Yeah. Yeah, considering what I've heard him say about some of the other bands I love, that's I'm pretty pumped. Like,
Well, after it sounds like Comeback Kid was you guys saw Comeback Kid, but
Yeah.
together everyone saw Norma Jean. Was that next?
yep.
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah.
It was fine.
It was fine. That was it. Yeah, right.
I think as far
Okay.
as a moment
Yeah.
goes, like for me, it's kind of like first. I mean, I kind of put the Impending Doom show kind of separate to Furnace Fest. But
Yeah,
the
sure.
actual like fest
Yeah.
moment, the Norma Jean show, and the Comeback Kid Wake the Dead pit moment for me, because like I know every word to a lot of their songs, so that was big for me. But yeah, Norma Jean's whole set, that was a very memorable moment.
Yep.
And
So unreal.
even just the song selection, I mean, they played some really good songs, and they played some oldies. Like one of the ones that I really loved was the Falling from the Sky
Dude,
Day
yeah.
7.
That's like my second favorite album.
I would say
Meridional
that's one of my favorite albums too, and so I was super surprised that they played that song. I was like,
Yeah.
And then he gave his like little intro to it, which was kind of cool. So I kind of connected with him there, so that was pretty sick.
Was that the one where he said that he's been sober for
Well,
like 3
yeah,
years
that,
now?
but also just like talking about like the mental health stuff and working through some things. And he's like, man, I wrote this like when I was a kid, and he's like, now I sing it and it means way more to me now than you know.
Yeah.
And so the lyrics are really powerful in that song. And but yeah, it was a good song, good moment. And then obviously
The big one.
The big reveal.
moment.
So, I've seen Norma Jean now 3 times only, all 3 at Furnace Fest. The first year, most of the show was stolen from them because of sound issues and then like a medical emergency, and like it's just like that sucks. I'm not going to count that as seeing them. The second year we saw them in the shed. I couldn't get up to where Cecil and all the other group was, so I was kind of further back. But it was like I just mostly like watched them play, and I was like, these guys know what they're doing. Like they know how to make heavy music, but I wasn't like feeling it. Like I nothing made me like pumped or like I should record this or like I want to jump in that pit, or I just kind of like watching it from the top, like this is good. This year was way different. Like I don't know if it was the song selection or because I've just been listening to Norma Jean a ton lately, but man, I thought it was like probably one of my favorite shows of the weekend. Like they played like enough All Hail songs that got me pumped, and when they played that one from however you pronounce that album.
Yeah, I'm
Meridional.
I'm looking it up. Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, what else? Did they played their classics.
Yeah,
Had to.
Yeah, I mean, and they played stuff from their new album, but not nearly as much as they did last year. I'm not really a big fan of the new album. Like they have like 3 good songs, and they probably played those 3, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
But the ending was pretty crazy, which everyone knows about, and I'll just spare my sentence on that.
I mean, somebody has to tell it. I mean, you gotta. I know I heard what happened, but I want to know your guys' feelings.
Okay, so the whole weekend I had heard the rumors that Scogin was coming out. Like someone had told, they were like, Josh is coming out. He's gonna do Memphis Laid Away. It's gonna happen. Like,
well, we heard at the Showdown.
Yeah.
So that Josh Scogin part, right?
Yeah.
I say Scogin, I say Scogin.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Scogin. That's probably how it is.
He's like, we asked him to come out, but he said he needed to rest after his 68 show.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like, sure.
Like, what else is happening,
Yeah. And so, anyways, I remember I could see him coming out, and I was way back there. I was kind of like back a ways because my wife was with me, and it was the end of the day. She's pretty wiped, and first day at a metal festival or a metal concert, period. So she was pretty wiped.
Sure.
And she loved it. But anyways, I remember looking over at her and being like, "This is a historic moment in all of like hardcore, metalcore, anything heavy music. Period.
Sure.
Christian, non-Christian. I was like, this is a historic moment.
Yeah.
Like we're here for it, And I think just like how Scogin has that like. He just brings that energy out, and you could see.
Well,
him
and he wasn't
like,
the only one that came out.
It was a couple other original members too, right? There was a few others. Yeah.
So like Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste started. They played most of it. They got to that part.
Yeah.
And everyone's just kind of like holding their guitars up in the air, like holding a note, and it's like, what's happening?
Yeah,
and like everyone's like recording.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna happen? And it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was long.
It was long.
And like in that 5 minutes, like
a gap.
one guitarist takes off his guitar, some guy comes out, puts it on, everyone's like, ah! And Bobby's like, who's that supposed to be?
Yep,
And I'm
I
like,
said the same thing.
probably original guitarist, and then eventually like Scogin comes out and he's wearing his 68, which is like a white, like a tuxedo minus the jacket.
Yeah.
So like the spotlight's on him and he's wearing this super white thing, so it's like, who's the guy in white? It's like, just ask me later, okay? But and eventually, like, the guitars are just humming the whole time, just like wah, Norma Jean noises. And so the other guitarist is out there holding it, Scoggins out there, and there's just tons of people around him from the crowd. And they're all just like bracing themselves, and he's just like holding his microphone.
No way.
Yeah, and Corey Brandon's on the other side of the stage holding his microphone, and like they're all like bracing, like, don't attack me yet.
Yeah, they're like,
just wait.
They're like,
just wait.
Swaying.
It was taking forever, dude. I recorded the video. I'll upload it on our YouTube. But like, I was just like, what? When is this gonna happen, and who's gonna die?
Yeah.
I was like, this is dangerous. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
tension,
The tension was
the
crazy.
pit was nuts. Everyone's trying to get on the stage, and like Scogin's surrounded by people. There's security holding people, and like you can see security just like drop kicking people off the stage. Like there's too many here, and like yeah. But eventually, you know, he just like took a deep breath, and you're like, oh, here it comes, and he just goes with that, you know, his line, and
it
it was nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, it was gonzo. Everyone had goosebumps.
Oh, it was
Everyone's
unreal.
yelling at each other. Like it was nuts.
It was
dude.
unbelievable. Probably the highlight moment
Yeah.
of the fest for sure. I mean, it was just
Definitely.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and just seeing all the people just grabbing him and like
Yeah.
I'm like, let him do his thing. You know, this
But
is like
yeah,
the
but-
only time we'll ever see this.
But what's hilarious about it though is Scogin, that's his MO. Like whenever he would play a chariot show, he would be like, this is your stage, this is your mic. And that's how he would start every chariot show. Like he was super big on crowd involvement, so it was like that was a part of the moment, you know? Like historically, like that's how he's always been and operated. And so to see him just continue to be authentic, like even as he's transitioned to other bands and stuff, was super cool. And then when him and Corey Brandon like hugged at the end too, like, because you never know, like behind the scenes, like what that's like.
Is there tension?
Yeah, because you know, and like just for in a lot of ways, like I was really impressed with Corey because he like that was his show, you know, and like that was his moment, right? Like he's been singing that song for 10 years, or however many years, you know. Scogin's been out of it, and
20.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like that was like he like got the I don't know. Like for me, it was just like there was a lot of humility there, even in Corey, to be like, hey man, here's the mic. Like this is your moment. Like take it.
Yeah, and it was cool to see and hear both of them.
Yeah.
They were
They were both
doing it at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like in front of each other. It's like a hardcore music video or like a rap video.
Oh,
you got
so
the
good.
two
Back
dudes,
and forth.
you know, and like just a massive crowd of people on stage around him.
That's so
Tyler,
cool.
there's a 4K video of the whole thing. I don't know if you've seen it yet on YouTube.
I've seen nothing.
Oh my
so
god!
I would love to see
man.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll send it to Gary, and then he'll send it to you. I don't have your number,
Deal.
but I'll send it to
Dude,
Gary.
just post
right
it on
now.
our Discord and tag him.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
What's your tag on there?
Tyler
Tyler.
ACP.
Okay, Tyler, got you. I'll do it. But yeah, the video, it's like somebody like filmed it in 4K, so it's like really you can see everything.
It's an official one.
It's
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
awesome, man.
Yeah. So you'll see it. It's awesome.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's one of those moments, like you said, historical, and one of those moments that I hate to miss.
Mhm.
But I guess I'll just be super jealous and watch it. And
Yeah. And meanwhile, some people are out there like, "Who's this dude?"
Yeah, exactly.
That was literally me.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
What's the
there's
big deal?
there's people that are like, oh, what's the significance of this moment? I'm like, I'll tell you later. Like,
Why is that guy wearing a tuxedo?
Yeah,
that was Bobby?
yeah.
Sure. There's a few people, yeah.
Oh. All right, so after Norma Jean, looks like you guys went and caught a little bit of No Pressure.
No, I wanted
No?
to. They're hearted because that was my plan. I was going
Gotcha.
to leave Norma Jean, but they went a little long because that whole thing took longer.
Sure.
Yeah. Plus they were
and then
behind.
you know,
Yeah.
they were. Yeah, Blindside started setting up like right away, and I was like, oh crap,
Can't
do I
leave.
have time to run to the shed for 5 minutes and then run back? So instead of getting like a snippet of No Pressure, I'll just wait to eventually see them live one day.
Okay, so then you stayed for Blindside, and how does that compare to last year? Or is that 2 years ago also?
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Cecil, do you want to talk about Blindside? You're a big guy, Blindside guy, right?
Yeah, I do really like
yeah.
Blindside.
Yeah.
Again, like, it was a great set, but something about the shed just
Yeah.
like made Blindside 2 years ago so special.
Yeah.
I personally like Silence better as an album as well. So they
think the
played
world
About a
does.
Burning Fire. They played About a Burning Fire, and that was what this whole, like, they were supposed to do that full album play, which is a good album. It's not Silence.
Silence
But
is great.
I feel a little bit bad because they came off the high of that wild Norma Jean ending.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
How do you follow
They're
that
like-
up?
It was like, man, that moment will live on in Furnace Fest lore for the rest of time.
Yeah.
oh, by the way, here's Blindside.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they got up there, and it was really good. Like, but it was like
you're beating around the bush.
Well, the energy was just not the same. Like
Yeah.
them in the shed 2 years ago, I was like 6 feet from the stage, getting kicked
For
in the back
them,
of the head.
last year it was Memphis. It was right after Maylene, so it's kind of the same thing. Like this massive energy.
Right.
Like no one's seen Maylene in years,
Right.
and it's like, hey, they're finally doing live shows, and it's like, and here's Blindside.
Well,
But it's
I was
Blindside
just as
silence.
pumped for Blindside 2 years ago.
me too.
Like I fought my way to the front for Maylene, stayed up at the front for Blindside. I stayed. We were kind of like just outside the pit for Blindside this year.
Dude, you were probably standing next to me.
Yeah, I
2
was.
years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago, maybe. Yeah, probably. I don't know. But they had one song where Gary and I both looked at each other as like way too many tracks.
Oh yeah.
When they played Hooray, like it was really bad. And so I was like looking at Gary, and Gary's looking at me, and we're like, oh,
We were both like shaking our
kinda
heads.
like
Yeah.
I'm kind of out. But then as soon as that song was over, no more tracks for the rest of the set, or at least none that I noticed. So
Noticeable, yeah.
it got a lot better, but there was a moment where I was like, oh, this is not great. This is
And
what
they put some silent songs in between. You know?
they did.
They played
Yeah.
Pitiful at the end. They did
Yeah.
the first song on that album.
But I say the only reason I was really disappointed is they had kind of been teasing King of the Closet all week, right? They released.
They got the shirts, the vampire
They
shirts.
released
Yeah.
The Thought Crushed My Mind on vinyl. Like, I waited in line to buy the vinyl. They had shirts that said I'm a vampire on it at their merch booth. I'm like, yes, they're gonna play it. And then they just didn't. And I was like,
Yeah. So to Blindside's defense, right? This is not a touring band.
Correct.
They wrote this years ago, and they barely have ever played any of them live ever.
yeah, that's true.
And so they're like, we're gonna play the whole thing. Some of them they've never played live. So and, you know, they don't tour a lot. So like vocally, he wasn't there on every song like perfect. But yeah, like there were some songs like the Hooray, It's L.A. Like there's voice tracks, there was other guitar tracks, piano track.
Yeah.
It was just like I felt like we were listening to a karaoke event, and it sucked, right? I hated
It
being
was
there for
bad.
that. You know, and then they did Swallow after that, which is from a Need for Speed game, and so everyone knew that. And that, you know, they've played a lot, so they didn't have any tracks, and it sounded so much better. And even when he was like pitchy and stuff, it sounded so much better because it was real. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
like this was a real person singing.
Yeah.
To Scoggins' point, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. This is what Josh tried to warn us about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What's
he
cool
It was
though,
awesome.
He was
on the
jamming.
backstage,
He was,
dude.
man. And I was gonna say, seeing him back there, enjoying that whole set was really fun for me. I was like, dude. All right, cool. I'm a big Josh fan, by the way. So you could probably tell by the way I talk about him. But
If Josh likes Blindside, I like Blindside.
yeah, but it was just kind of cool to see, like, you know, he could have been anywhere else, you know, catching up with whoever, and it was kind of cool that he was there to.
Yeah, right
support.
after that set, instead of
Yeah.
like, you know, mingling with Norma Jean or like the showrunners of Furnace Fest.
Yeah, it was
like,
cool.
Or going to the booth, like he's like, I'm gonna stay here and watch.
And he was
Blindside. That's
into it, yeah. So, anyways,
It was really good.
Yeah,
Don't let
it was.
Hooray ruin it.
Yeah.
Hooray almost ruined it for me. But then they also, like, they had to cut a song off their set list, and
That's fine. They cut Sleepwalking.
like they cut Sleepwalking, which is true. But
I saw it already. It's a great song, but yeah, the About a Burning Fire song was killer.
yeah, it was awesome.
Ending,
that was
ending
worth
with
the
that
whole
super
show.
heavy. Yeah,
That was worth the whole set for sure.
yeah.
and they did win the prize of me spending the most merch or most money in one merch booth.
Really?
Yeah, because I bought both albums because they're pretty exclusive to Furnace Fest.
Yeah.
So both vinyls, T-shirt, poster, and they had like an original, like they had a cassette of A Thought Crushed My Mind. So I bought that too.
Nice.
But it was like from
1996.
99
yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
forever
Like, it was
ago. Yeah.
forever. So it's like, and like all the lyrics or like all the writing on the back was in Swedish. So I was like, sold.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
I don't even
sick.
have a way to listen to it, but
Well, I think that takes us to the last band, and currently right now it's almost midnight for Cody.
Yeah.
And it's 11 probably for you guys. It's only 8:30. Night's in a diaper for us over here on the Pacific Coast. But there's one more band, and it was Underoath.
Yeah.
And there's so many different feelings of Underoath now and what they were and what they meant to the scene. And so you guys saw it. Cody, you want to talk about the experience of seeing Underoath?
So it was really cool. I kind of near when they started, I kind of hung out with Tim and Cecil, and we kind of like went back a little bit out of the crowd and everything. We kind of did our own thing. Yeah, we bailed again. Shocker. But it was really cool, like seeing the stage. They literally had They're Only Chasing Safety. The album cover was the entire back wall of the stage.
Yeah, it had like projector lights.
Yeah, so the eyes were lit up. And like significant points, it would light up and turn off. But anyway, it was just super cool. Like listening to that album, dude. That album is like my high school. Like when I was back in high school, dude. Like just hearing that music again just brought so much nostalgia and so much
100%.
like joy. And like, man, dude, this was the time that I got into this music. Like,
For sure.
what the heck? This is crazy. It made a full circle this weekend for me. I wish I could have been in the crowd for those specific songs, especially When the Sun Sleeps. I love that song to death.
Ooh, they played that?
Yes,
Let's go.
it was
They did.
insane. But yeah, like I said, I was with Cecil. We kind of just hung out at the tailgate van and just hung out, waited for the rest of the guys to get back from the show. But we could hear them on the other side, and it was just ballistic. It was just so crazy. There was one moment where literally, like Spencer singing the song, and he points the microphone out, and like you can literally hear them say the lyrics exact. You could hear every single word. Like that's how much energy was coming out of the crowd. It was just
singing really
nuts.
loud.
Yeah,
It was just Gary.
yeah. But yeah, it was incredible.
Okay, so you guys went up to the top. Gary, you stayed down. You've never seen Underoath before.
Never seen Underoath. I
So-
was in the pit with Bobby,
Yeah.
Cecil's friend Chuck,
Yep.
Okay.
and a guy named Cam from Tacoma who's in the band Descriptor.
Okay.
So we were all together, and after they all left, we're all like, "No, we're staying right here."
Yeah.
You know, like we all didn't stay together very long because the crowd moved, and
Sure.
Yep.
we died a few times. And Cam and Chuck are tall, and they're big dudes. They don't move. I move. Like people are like move, and they like shove me, and I squeeze between three people. You know,
Right.
like I guess I'm here now. But yeah, never seen them. I was thoroughly entertained. When I've never seen a band, I don't really sing along and like
Sure.
get into it. I like watch every member, like, gotta watch the dude going crazy on the keys, gotta
Have to.
see Tim on the guitar, like how technical is he, how good is this, like, so just watching everything. It was hard to see Aaron very much because he's kind of in the back and there's so much smoke with all the
Sure.
lights and stuff, so like zooming in my phone 10 times to see his smile. But just to set the scene for you, Cody already mentioned like the backdrop, but there's a couch on there, like a leather couch with like 3 cushions, and there's like lamps everywhere, like 4 lamps. And as they played songs, the lamps like light up or whatever. But to start off with, they sang that some will seek forgiveness, which everyone's like, oh, they're not
They
singing
started
that.
with that?
They started with that. So Aaron Gillespie's sitting on the couch with a microphone, singing that song.
Did they say it?
They said Jesus, yes.
Let's go.
I'm ready. But at the end, instead of like being like this happy, cheerful climax, it was like a glass shattering, static, scary sounds when lights turn off and he went to the drum set, and then they jumped into Young and Aspiring. And which gave it kind of a creepy vibe after saying Jesus. Like I don't know, it felt like a statement, but maybe I'm looking for things, but
I think you're looking for things.
yeah, but I was surprised to hear them do it. Anyway.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I was waiting.
And
I was
they
waiting-
did the same thing. They kind of shuffled songs,
We were waiting in line for like milkshakes and whatever. And the second I heard Jesus, I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, "Oh, great!" Like,
Yeah, they did it though. Yeah,
Wow. Cool. So, Dangerous Business, first time hearing it, amazing, right? Live,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
whole crowd singing it, got to be cool.
yeah. I was in the crowd. I was singing it. Yeah,
I saw them, I don't know, 07, 08 for Define the Great Line Tour or whatever that was. And it was a core memory, so I can only imagine it had to be pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool hearing them talk about it, like saying like A Boy Brush Red, how like it's like one of their most played songs ever, and they put no money into marketing. There's no music video for it. The record company didn't push anything, but he's like, "Oh, you guys won't stop streaming it, so I guess we'll play that song next." You know,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was literally.
So that was kind of interesting. But you know, I was saying earlier that like it didn't feel as professional and like serious, but it did feel kind of like a yearbook, like you know. So they did a thing like hold your hand up if you've seen it 10 times, 11 times, 12, and then those people who saw them a ton came and sat on the couch for a song.
Wow, that's
so
cool.
They brought them up on the couch and I got to sit there. You know, they did a lot of that kind of stuff. They brought people on the couch, so they got to sit on the stage as the band played. That's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
You know, going through their songs, but I don't know. I mostly just soaked it in. You know, like, I didn't get in the mosh pit. People really wanted to get in the mosh pit through me, but yeah, it was a good time. And there's no one near me. I guess like right behind me. Who was behind me? Someone. I don't remember. But it took me like most of the show. I turned around. I was like, oh hey, you're still there. But yeah, I don't know. You know, the encore came on. They finished the song. Like, how about we do some other ones?
And what did they choose? Right on the Walls.
Yeah, that was the last one they did, I believe. Yeah. So I started walking away from that because I was like, I got to get to the car. I'm all by myself. They did, you know, the first one they did was As the Sun Sleeps. No, they did that second. Was it?
I'm looking.
Are you looking at the set list? Okay. Yeah. So they played their new song Teeth.
Which is your favorite. I remember that.
Yeah. So it was funny hearing the crowd talk. And, like, people behind me are like, no, thank you. And, like, someone's like, turn the bass down. Because it's just like, da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na. You know, like, just, you know, EDM heavy, electronic, not real riffs. It was weird seeing Tim, like, flip his guitar behind his back as he's, like, poking, you know, on his little dubstep
not
machine
really
thing,
playing,
you know? Yeah, it's I don't know. It was just a different feeling.
But
and I think
When
they're
the
trying
Sun
to get
Sleeps,
a vibe,
I mean,
you know?
it's not that far. I mean, it's very electronic driven too.
Right, so they did that one next. They kind of talked about it like, you know, we said we would never play this song live again.
And here we are.
Here we are.
But you made us.
Yeah.
That's
and he's
sick.
like, this is the last time we're ever going to play it now, you know. So that was cool seeing it and the crowd going nuts. They played a song that was on their like deluxe edition. I Got 10 Friends and a Crowbar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they played that one. Yeah. That was pretty cool. I don't know, I had a great time. Like, I mean, I've never seen them. I don't know if I'll ever see them again.
Right.
Unless they do a Define the Great Line tour, because then I'm like, I'm in.
That'd be sick.
But,
that would be sick.
Well, cool guys. I think that ends the Furnace Fest night then.
Mm-hmm.
The whole tour.
Yeah.
The whole weekend.
And we this right here, man. We've recorded we said we were going to record for an hour and a half. It's 3 hours almost, people.
Dude,
That's how much fun you guys had.
I'll trim this up.
That's how much fun you guys had.
Yeah.
Closing
There's a lot of
thoughts.
bands.
A lot of bands. Closing thoughts on Furnace Fest. Let's start with Tim.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What was it? What did it mean to you? All that stuff.
Yeah, so it was everything I expected and more. It was a very revitalizing experience for me. Just, getting to go. These are bands I've cherished for many years, and so getting to see them live. I will say this real quick about the Underoath set. I found myself like really brokenhearted, you know, listening to their set, you know, because I think that's been a common theme with a lot of like my favorite bands. You know, like I'm a diehard Gideon guy, and you know, watching kind of some of their things, and you know, I'm a lyrics guy, so like, you know, it just kind of really the Lord put something in my heart, like, hey man, you should start like dissecting lyrics of songs and trying to connect them spiritually. So I've just been playing around with that. I feel like the Lord gave me a little bit of a vision for that kind of post Furnace Fest. And so it's kind of cool. I'm having fun with it and enjoying it, but want to try to connect people back to the Lord, man, through this rich music, you know? And so
that's awesome.
But yeah, man, the festival as a whole was exactly how I wanted it to be. So getting to meet these dudes was a huge highlight too. So
yeah, that's awesome. The community is cool for
Unreal.
sure. Cecil, some closing thoughts that you have on Furnace Fest?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to go to 3 out of 4 of the second version of Furnace Fest. And
Yeah.
so
It's amazing.
kind of like definitely saw so many bands over those 3 years that I probably never would have had a chance to see.
For sure.
Probably never will have a chance to see again. I mean, I live in Northwest Arkansas, which is a super great area if you're really into mountain biking or like hiking, that type of stuff, but not a great hotspot for a lot of the types of shows for bands that would play at Furnace Fest. So
Sure.
Yes.
I have to drive quite a bit to go to shows like that, which is cool. But to be able to do that for 3 straight years and see the groups that have meant so much to me over my whole life, it's been great. So I kind of put a post in the Discord about it, but it's like I went in 2021, just my wife and I hadn't really found this podcast or the group or really connected with that many Facebook people in the community group. And then last year met a bunch of these guys. Second year met a bunch more of these guys.
Right.
It's like music has an opportunity to bring together so many friendships and relationships,
Oh, yeah.
especially
For sure.
when you
Yep.
find like-minded people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's really the lasting effect for me. It's like the bands were awesome. I finally got to see Extol, right? Like everything's great.
Yeah.
But like it's going to be okay, I now know Tim is 35 minutes from me.
That's sick.
There's a couple of shows coming up, like multiple hour drives away. But it's like now I'm way more likely to go do that because I'm gonna be like, Tim, let's get in the car. We're gonna drive 4 hours to Little Rock to see Living Sacrifice, or we're gonna go do Texas, or we're gonna go wherever. Yeah, I mean, I'm just super thankful because Furnace Fest has given me a bunch of friends and a bunch of bands, so I'm pumped. I'm sad to see it go.
Cool. Cody, how about you? Closing thoughts.
Yeah, dude, pretty similar to what Cecil said. I mean, it was incredible to finally be able to experience this in person, and I honestly understand like why so many people say that this festival is so special. And like once you go there, it just clicks. You're just like, yeah, like you're seeing all the bands that you've always wanted to see, past, present, and like but it's the community of people that this music attracts, and the friendships that you make, like that will last a lifetime. And like it partially with this community, even like it's like this is the reason that that is what keeps pulling me back to this music, is the friendships that I make along the way. And it's just, it makes it even more special, makes it even more memorable. And yeah, I can't wait to get my kids into this music. I can't it's just, it's that special to me, dude. Like I just love this music so much. So it was incredible meeting Tim and just getting to know everybody over the weekend. And I'm never going to forget this weekend. Like it's that special to me.
Same.
Cool. Gary, your thoughts, and you close us out, man.
All right, yeah, so echoing everybody, like it sucks to see Furnace Fest go.
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy so I can save my wallet for going 3 years in a row. But kind of what Cecil said, like I went the first year with my buddy Bobby, and we met like maybe 3 or 4 people from our Discord. Went to some shows together, and then the next year we're like, let's get more people to go, and more people came. We met more people last year. I met a lot of people last year, and this year was nuts. Like I can't tell you how many people I met. I met all the guys in the Tarnished because they kept parking next to us in the parking lot. I met Danny from No Treaty. I just met so many people. I met the singer of Elijah. It just feels like super cool. Like everywhere you go, there's someone at a show. Like no matter what show you went to at Furnace Fest, there was someone that you could relate to,
Yeah.
And when you start meeting people, you just keep seeing them and you just stand next to them and you enjoy a show together. And it's really awesome, especially with like the Christian bands, when like not only do you guys love this music, but you also share a faith in Christ.
Yeah, that's right.
And like, so like you connect on like double the level.
Yeah.
Like, like Tyler, you always say like, there's dozens of us that listen to this music. Like it's not mainstream. And so to find people who get together and enjoy this sound and also have a faith in Christ, like we're talking a small percentage of the United States.
For sure.
And we're all meeting up and like, so you just quickly make friends. You easily talk to each other.
Yeah.
We all have a lot in common.
Yep.
So it kind of sucks to see this community go, but I'm kind of excited to see what comes of it. Because, you know, all these people are now getting stoked. And all
Mm-hmm.
these bands that have been, let's play Furnace Fest, let's get back together and do this. Haste the Day.
Yep.
They're now back together and
Yep.
doing stuff. Lots
Yeah.
of bands are doing this. So
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I'm excited to see what comes.
Yep.
Kind of sad to see it go.
Mm-hmm.
We just all got to find, now next year, we all got to find
Mm-hmm.
a new place to go.
A new fest.
Yeah, that's right.
I appreciate you guys jumping on and talking Furnace Fest, and it's been awesome. Love hearing your stories, and like you guys echoed, like, love this community. It's so awesome that you guys are a part of it. We thank you so much, and I know Gary feels the same way. So, thanks, boys.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
man.
Thanks,
You
guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you for listening.